tequila and 1 drinks beer only. Okay. Feel like you're making the case to say, oh, I didn't drink that, so
better.
I don't want to
Fixed
split it, if I'm understanding.
That's right.
Just quick context, I'd stepped away to use the restroom with another girl when I grabbed the bride's phone as it was on the edge of the section and she was drunk. We go and come back 5 minutes later, everybody's gone, they're outside yelling and the bride is getting into it with one of her sisters. Apparently she thought some random girl stole her phone and chased this random lady down the street barefoot in Mexico. Some very nasty words were exchanged between 3 sisters, including the bride. We ended the night and went back to the hotel. Did you give her her phone back? Why didn't you tell her you took her phone?
Oop.
The next day, we get a text from Lori, one sister, stating it's $88 each for the club last night. No itemized receipt, just basic transaction receipt. That's $800 for one night at the club. That's actually like not that much. Like I'm just saying, okay, like this might sound extremely out of touch, but when you're getting bottle service, which is something that like my friends do on special occasions, like a bachelorette or like maybe a birthday trip or something like that, bottle service is really expensive. But when you have a big group of people, it seems like a really good option. And it usually only ends up being about like $150 a person, which when you consider how much it is to get into a club, which is usually $50 cover, you're usually paying like 20 bucks per drink. It usually ends up being like worth it. Not to mention, if I'm gonna go out to a club, I prefer to sort of have our own section with places to put our shoes and our bags and our coats and stuff like that, and a section that's like kind of away from the creepy men, if you know what I mean. And it's normal to spend a lot more than $88 a person. Furthermore, you're on a bachelorette trip. I know that this comes with a lot of like conflicting opinions, but when you're on a bachelorette trip, expect to spend money. It is normal for everyone to split the cost so that the bride doesn't pay anything on her own bachelorette trip. It's a thing. It's a gift. It's a gift for the bride to take her out for one last hurrah, and it's normal for the group to pay for the bride. And it's my understanding that the bride is also splitting this. So that's just kind of where I'm at with this right now. But I'll hear you out. So we called a quick meeting as 3 never touched the bottle and others didn't drink as much. Yeah, but it's also a little difficult to like measure who's drinking what. I'm sure you drank water. Water bottles at the club are expensive.
I only have like $3.50.
And furthermore, it's like you're on a bachelorette. $88 for a night out is really not that much. Me, Kat, and 2 others felt we are here to enjoy the trip, but also aren't blowing money just to spend, and we should all be paying for what we order. I don't agree with that. Like, I think that makes sense if you're like kind of at a dinner and like a bunch of people are ordering a bunch of things, you're not drinking, and the drinks rack up the prices. I feel like that's fair. But in a situation where you're going out to the club with your friends and it's a friend's bachelorette trip, again, might be out of touch, it's normal.
Is this normal?
If you go on a bachelorette trip or a wedding or whatever, a birthday trip, expect to spend money on the guest of honor.
Be polite.
And if you don't want to do that, if that's too
One
much
more
to ask, and listen, not everybody is in the financial position to do that, and that is fine. But you cannot have it both ways, you know?
Diabetes,
coronary disease,
Autoimmune diseases,
obesity, cancer.
Pretty much all chronic diseases of the Western world are associated with the gut microbiome that is unhealthy.
Lori said she ordered the second bottle because the light up candles sparkler excited her. And well, now she's expecting everybody to pay for the extra bottle. I went out of my way to email the club and ask for an itemized receipt, which I received the next day. Each bottle was about $222, along with 2 buckets of beer that was ordered and 1 bucket of Red Bull. We leave that as it is for now and just get ready for the next day dinner. And while at this dinner, me and Kat are starting to hear others make some comments or give certain looks or exclude us from pictures. Okay. Some comments were heard that night were, make sure we all pay for what we ordered. When the check came, we were able to split it 4 ways. So everybody got into small groups. Me and Kat paid together, but since we're in Mexico, it took us time to go through the receipt and convert it from pesos to USD. Roughly for the check to go around the whole 4 groups, it took 30 minutes. Oh my goodness. But during the 30 minutes, we hear more comments. Why is this taking so long? Why can't we just split it evenly? I mean, this one's tough. This is tough because it's like, it is just normal to like split things evenly, especially when one person, you know, a bunch of people aren't ordering like top bar shelf stuff.
It's expensive.
You know, if it's like a couple of dollars difference, I don't see the point of sitting there for 30 minutes, nickel and diming, looking at an itemized receipt. I just don't see the point. Maybe because some people specifically are ordering shots back to back, Class Azul shots, and eating lobster tails like it's an open buffet. This is exactly why we shouldn't be splitting all bills evenly 10 ways. Okay, I feel like you kind of have a point there.
That's a very pretty point.
Class Azul, if you haven't heard of that, is a very expensive type of tequila. It is very expensive. I agree that if you're not drinking Class Azul, you shouldn't be paying for other people's Class Azul.
Tequila.
I kept my mouth shut. I never made comments back because it wasn't the time nor the place, and I kept telling myself they are the bride's sisters. After dinner, everybody went out except for me, Kat. We decided to go back to the hotel as we were already feeling uncomfortable with the continuous snarky comments. Kat was very emotional about the whole situation, especially how uncomfortable we were feeling, so much so that we looked up flights back home. Okay. But we slept on it and decided to speak to the bride instead. Next day, we, Kat and I, have a conversation with the bride. We express the comments people are making, how uncomfortable we are feeling. Kat is explaining her side and starts to cry a bit out of frustration. Kat mentions we looked at flights back home only for the bride to cut her off mid-sentence and says to us, if you want to leave, you can. To say I was disappointed is minimal. Why? She's saying that you guys can leave. I feel like that's what you want, isn't it? You don't want to be, like, part of this situation. Get out of here! This is tough because like if there really are ordering Class Azul shots, those are not cheap. But like when you're going on a bachelorette trip, and this is where some people get like confused about stuff, it really is customary to treat the bride, and it really is normal to like spend money. It is. This is like the one time in the bride's life where she's supposed to be treated, she's supposed to be celebrated, and I'm curious to know like what you said to her. And I think leaving in the middle of a bachelorette trip is kind of like, it's not the best way to go about it. I'm just saying. I was feeling sad, mad, and mostly misunderstood. We all spent so much money on flights and the hotel to come celebrate her, only for her to not see our side of things and be very defensive for the whole conversation. Yeah, I don't know. I think the last thing that I want to do on a bachelorette trip is like have a friend sit me down and like have a chat with me.
Nice chatting with you.
Me and Kat spoke privately and decided to try and put this to the side as we still have 3 days to go and try to make the best of our trip. The rest of the trip goes fine. We go back home and I don't reach out to the bride for about 3 weeks as I need space. I'm sure she wants space, and eventually my plan was to text her and meet for lunch or dinner to speak in person about the trip.
Let's talk about that.
Instead, I got a text of her deciding to end our friendship. She states I was very inappropriate on the trip, I was disrespectful to others, and that I don't celebrate her wins with her, especially on the most exciting trip of her life. Okay, interesting. I feel like there's some subtext there that you're not talking about. I responded with what made the most sense to me. Very direct, honest, and not in any way disrespectful, but rather very disappointed in all of this. To not even give me the decency to see me in person, to speak, says a lot more about her than to me. I then blocked her on everything. Okay. I want to clarify, I was not being cheap or broke on this trip. I came on the trip with roughly $2,000 if needed, but not with the mindset of let me blow it all. So the question is, am I the a-hole? The post was deleted, so I'm looking at kind of like a repost of this. And based on the comments that were shared, it doesn't seem like people are on OP's side. So others wanted their trip funded and got upset when it wasn't. Were they ordering the same expensive services and items when checks were split evenly? Or did they stick to a more realistic budget? Overall, the trip seems outrageously excessive and expensive unless y'all are in crazy income tax brackets than the majority of people. OP responded to this and said, I will say everybody's income is different, very, very different. Again, it's the principle if I order a steak and 3 drinks, but you order 3 shrimp, lobster tails, and 10 shots with 5 cocktails, splitting evenly makes no sense to me.
Looking for a fun and easy new craft? This adult embroidery beginner kit includes
Guys!
everything you need to create truly beautiful.
What?
What's happening? I don't really think it Okay, let's like clarify the price here. Someone said this is in pesos. That's $635 US split by 9 people. That's only $70. So yes, I believe you are the a-hole. Hold on a second. The dinner was only $600. Okay, so $70 a person? Okay, hold on a second. $70 for a steak and 3 cocktails. That is not that much. That's what you're getting weird about? Okay. Paying that goes a lot longer of a way than the resentment that ensues if you're the only person who refused. Someone else said, look, I'm the most frugal person around and absolutely loathe split checks when I'm feeling like someone is taking advantage of the situation. That said, this is nuts. The details should have been hammered out long before the event even took place, and you are there to celebrate the bride for a monumental occasion that you agreed to be a part of, and she needs to watch her lobster tail consumption? Yeah. Then you corner the bride to unload on her your feelings and inform her of your thoughts on leaving. She is the last person who should have been brought into this mess. She is the guest of honor. And you were clearly pissy enough to need space for weeks after it was over. I don't blame her one bit for feeling let down by you. Yeah. One person kind of on OP's side said, you're not the a-hole, but I would probably have advised not talking to the bride during the trip and sticking it out until you got home. The last thing a bride wants is to be stuck in the middle of drama when the trip is supposed to be about her.
I'm over it. I don't need this anymore.
I 100% agree with this. I don't necessarily know if a conversation needed to be had, but like, I can tell you that being a bride comes with like a couple of days where you get to be celebrated. You don't get to hear about problems. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Do not bring me problems as a bride, especially not on my bachelorette trip and especially not on my wedding day. And there were a few times throughout the year I was getting married where I had to be like, I'm not dealing with it today. Please do not to me about your problems. Do not come to me and express like certain issues or complain about things. Like, do not, okay? Save it for after the wedding or after the bachelorette, because it's just like, I'm not going on a trip to like have confrontations with my friends, you know? Especially not about something like this. It's one thing if the bride is being a total bitch, but it kind of just seems like she went on a trip. She wanted to spend some money because, you know, it's her bachelorette. You had a problem with treating her and spending money on her. You're not even spending money on her. You're kind of just like spending money in general. But at the same time, you're spending money for her so that you all have a good time.
Having a good time. That's right.
It doesn't sound to me like you didn't have the money because you went on the trip in the first place. You kept $2,000 to spend. I just don't really like it when people are like nickel and diming over stuff like this. Like, it's the one time where a bride gets to go balls to the wall and live life to the fullest and eat well and drink well and go out and have fun. I feel like that comes with the territory, you know? And like I said, you're completely entitled to not want to be involved. If you're not in a position to spend money on a bachelorette trip, don't go. Like, literally don't go. I'm sure the bride will understand if she's not like totally unreasonable, right?
How dare you?
But you went. You spent the money on flights. You spent the money on hotels and all this other stuff. You spent the money on food and drinks. You are in a position to be able to afford it. You just don't want to be able to afford it for her, is what I'm hearing. So this other person kind of went on and said it probably would have been better to try and have a conversation with the sisters and work it out without the bride's involvement. Yes, I really like that. It sucks that she's chosen to end your friendship, but maybe it's for the best if she's not open to hearing you out now that the trip is over. I will say that there was like a bit of drama going on like at my wedding, and I did not hear about it until like 2 weeks after the fact. Like, my friends were like, we got some tea. They came over, we debriefed over a couple of cocktails, and like I had absolutely no clue what was going on. And I was so grateful that I didn't know about it on my wedding day. Same kind of deal, you know? Oh, and by the way, the drama did not involve me. So before you're like, where's Charlotte or Bridezilla? No, it did not involve me. So OP responded when it was brought up in the group discussion. All it created was snarky comments and hostility. To be in a room with people who are talking about you, very uncomfortable. $800, split 10 ways, $80 per head. Not bad at all. On receipt number 2, not sure what the problem was. I completely agree. Like, the way that OP described it was that, like, the Bachelorette was going absolutely insane, ordering top shelf liquor, like, just really being very unreasonable. $80 for dinner? Is that not normal? No. OP responded, 3 people didn't touch any bottles at the club. Yeah. If you wanted to go and sit in the booth with everybody, then yeah. You're also paying for the experience. You're not just paying for the liquor. You're paying for a rented space in a club and also cover for the club.
We're broke.
How does that make sense? And at dinners, I'm eating shrimp, my 2 drinks, and water, while others have no self-control and ordering lobster tails and Class Azul shots. Do the math now. It's a bachelorette! It's a fucking bachelorette! This is not just like a regular night out. Like, it's just not. Okay. I feel very strongly about this. I'm sure people are gonna have opposing opinions. It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you feel $80 is too expensive to spend on a night out for dinner, to treat your friend on a bachelorette trip, if you really cannot make that work, don't go.
Honesty is always the best policy.
Hi, Mike. I'm getting very heated.
I literally heard you screaming.
I'm screaming. I'm pretty sure that I'm banging on the table.
There's construction workers outside who look towards the house.
You know,
What's happening?
okay, it's about someone he's nickel and diming a bachelorette. We have personal experiences with this. Oh God.
Okay, I'll let you get to it. Hydrate.
Love you.
Hey, let me see your ring. Yeah.
I'm getting so heated. I think it's because I've like had personal experiences with this, and it has put a little damper on things, on friendships, on trips. You know, the interesting thing about this video is the bride in this story went on TikTok to share her side, and we have the video and the permission from the bride to share it. Ooh.
I had to kick out my best friend / bridesmaid out of my bridal party and out of my life permanently, all over $15. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as I can.
$15.
I had my bachelorette in Cabo the first weekend of September. There's 10 girls.
Smooch.
There was no pressure whatsoever. I originally only wanted to go with my sisters, but I gave everyone the opportunity to go.
All right,
so
flowers,
it ended up being,
done.
10 girls. There was 2 girls from Texas. That's where I live right now, but my whole family's from San Diego. So the rest of the girls and my sisters all live in San Diego. So these 2 girls that I met in Texas, we'll call them like A and K. So we all went. The first night we went to a nightclub. It was so much fun. You had to get bottle service in order to get into the booth. So I wanted to buy a bottle, so we did that. My sister ended up ordering another bottle. Someone would order like beers, no big deal. We get the tab the next day, or my sister texts us or whatever in a chat, and she's like, hey, the tab was $800, so everyone needs to Venmo me $80 at your earliest convenience, da-da-da-da. My friends were like bothered by that. My friends A and K, because they were bothered that it was $80 a person because they said they didn't drink a lot. One of them, A, said she only had 4 drinks from the bottle that night, whatever.
Hold on a second. So she did drink from the bottle. Someone did drink from the bottle. So 4 drinks out at a club around, $15 to $20 a drink with tip. That's $80, honey. That's $80. The math ain't mathing. It is mathing, but like, you know what I mean?
Just like whatever. And I was like, you know what, like, I'll pay for y'all's portion since I wanted to buy a bottle anyways. People had just already started Venmoing my sister, so it was like me paying for the bottle and her paying for the other bottle. Like, we just like didn't want to deal with all of that. We just figured everyone paid. We'll just pay for like more things during that weekend or whatever.
Hold on a second. So OP never said that the bride paid for one of the bottles. She left that part out. Interesting how we're omitting information.
A ended up emailing the nightclub for the itemized receipt because she was like so bothered by this $80. So then she got the itemized receipt back.
Flowers!
Whatever. They were just like obsessing over that all week. But
7.
I ended up telling them, because I was trying to nip this in the bud. Like, I knew, like, no, we're not doing drama this weekend. Like, you're not going to start the weekend off like this. Like, I immediately was like, you guys need to be on your own separate tabs moving forward. I was like, I don't want you to be lumped in with me and my sisters and my other friends are like buying. And then I said, I can pay for y'all's portions. Like I told them I'll pay for those portions since I wanted to buy a bottle anyways. But they insisted that they didn't want that to be the solution. So it was like weird. They were like coming up with this problem but didn't want to take a solution. So then whatever, like we stopped talking about it, and then on night 2 we're getting ready to go to the dinner and then the club, and so then I see them whispering to each other in the mirror as I'm curling my hair, and so I was like, oh, like, hey, I heard A say, we'll just see how we feel after dinner. So I already knew where this was going, so I literally said, oh, are you girls like not coming out to the club after this? So then A was like, well, I have a migraine, so we'll just see how we feel after. So like, okay, whatever. So then we go to dinner. A is drinking cocktails, which is interesting. So if you have a migraine, I just thought that like it was really serious, but whatever. Then of course after dinner, they're like, yeah, we're gonna go home. So they go to the Airbnb. The rest of the girls go out. Literally night 2 was so much fun. Like it was the best night ever. Probably because there's no negative energy, but whatever. I didn't sleep. I slept in a different person's room that night in the Airbnb because I just didn't like the weird energy I was getting from those 2 girls. So then the morning of the 3rd morning or whatever, I get a text from A, and she's like, hey, can you come to our room so we can have a talk? So I'm literally like shocked. Like I'm like getting sent to the principal's office on my bachelorette. Like I'm literally like, what is going on? I have no idea what to expect. They sit me down and they literally tell me I'm the problem. Like I'm making them feel cheap, like because I offered to pay for them, and they said that they feel uncomfortable around my sisters and my friends because they feel like I'm making them to be like cheap people because they don't want to pay for the bottle service because they hardly drink. Like all this crazy stuff. Like literally thought I was in the Twilight Zone. I was literally just sitting there like, okay. So then A and K said that the night before they actually looked up flights to go home because they're so like bothered by this. So I literally like chimed in and I was like, I think y'all should leave. Like they're making me feel uncomfortable now. Like
Literally.
This is my bachelorette and you're making it about you.
Okay, she is 100% correct. Like 100% correct. Let's just like get this straight, all right? Just for everybody to understand. If your friend is getting married, OP in the Reddit story said this is her best friend. Your friend is getting married, okay? This is your chance to treat your friend to the time of her life. That should make you so fucking excited. And maybe this is like not normal for a lot of people, but like me and my friends, we really go above and beyond for each other. Like we really, really do. We celebrate each other. We show each other the love, and that is the way that it should be.
Correct.
We have ended friendships over people who cause drama at bachelorettes. People who make it about them, people who cause drama, people who like start fights with each other. Like absolutely not. It is like an unspoken rule, but now it is spoken, okay? It is spoken. Do not cause drama on bachelorettes or weddings. Do not come to the bride with complaints and expect to spend money and celebrate your friend or sister or aunt or whatever, whoever the f she is. Expect it. And if you're not willing to do all of those things, don't go. Literally don't go.
What does being healthy look like to you? Is it running a marathon or just tying a
I think y'all should leave if, like, I'm not gonna beg anyone to stay and celebrate me. Like, it seems like y'all have made up your mind. So then they decide, oh, A said, I'm 50-50. She's like, I already paid for this trip. So she's like, I kind of want to stay and use the amenities at the Airbnb while y'all continue with your itinerary. In my head, I'm like, no, that's not how this works. But like, and like, that's just weird. Like, you're gonna be a fly on the wall at my bachelorette. Like, it's so goofy. So I was like, whatever. So then they're like, we need to go to breakfast to discuss. Like, literally, y'all sat me down at my bachelorette and like, I don't know, I'm just so uncomfortable. Like, I don't even know what my punishment is now.
my.
Let's go to breakfast and talk about it.
Okay, I will also point out something about this bride. The fact that she's willing to go kind of above and beyond for her friends when she should be treated. It is completely normal for like everyone to either like completely pay for the bride's way on a bachelorette or take her out to dinner or just something. Like it is totally normal for the bride to like not pay a thing. She's going above and beyond, trying to make things easier for her friends who seriously could like have an issue with spending money on her bachelorette trip, and somehow they're still causing problems.
Whack.
Absolutely not.
So then they come back like the freaking twins from The Shining, and they're literally like happy as can be. They're like, we decided to forget about it. And in my head, I'm like, why couldn't y'all have thought about this 24 hours ago instead of sitting the bride down at her own bachelorette and making this a big deal? But I was like, whatever. So we squash it and we have a great time. And then the end of the trip happens, and A says, oh, we actually, now that I have the itemized receipt from the nightclub, since she emailed them and ran all the numbers and stuff, she was like, we were shaking our ass on the booths, and we decided that we do want to pitch in for at least one of the bottles from the nightclub. So I'm like, okay, cool. So she's like, we did the math, and it's $65 a person. So in my head, I'm like, girl, like, you started all this drama, you guys sat me down, you berated me, you threatened to leave my bachelorette party all over $15.
Buddy.
Like, I can't even buy a cheeseburger for $15. Like,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So then we get off the flight. A scurries off to the bathroom. She's like, I'll catch y'all later. I don't hear from her for 3 weeks. Like, nothing. We used to talk every single day. She completely ghosted me. She only texted me to reach out and ask if I changed my Amazon password because she's on my account. So I sent her a message and I just said,
stop.
This isn't for me.
Honestly, literally send her like a bill for your Amazon account.
Oh, so since we're nickel and diming, like, maybe let's, you know, split the bill from now on for Amazon.
This is the thing, okay?
Okay.
$15. This was all over $15. And it might not seem like a big deal, but like, she made it a big deal. I really, really hate it, like, so much when friends nickel and dime over special occasions and they're weird about it, because you know why that bothers me? Because it always comes around. You know, when you're in a friend group, everybody treats each other, right? There will never be a point where my friends feel like I'm taking advantage of them, because it always comes around. I'm always treating my friends like, I'm always, you know, gifting them things, bringing them bottles of champagne. Like, I'm always giving, and so are they, okay? So that's why whenever there's someone that kind of like upsets the balance and starts nickel and diming, it's like, okay, so maybe let's nickel and dime about the fact that I paid for your seat at this like beach club. Like, maybe let's nickel and dime about how I paid for your share of dinner, you know, on my birthday. Let's nickel and dime about how I covered like 8 different Ubers that you were in and you didn't pay me back for. This is why it gets weird, because in a friendship, it almost always comes back around, especially when you really care about each other.
He was that friend!
Oh, you know the worst thing about it? When people nickel and dime, but then they're off like spending money on like designer bags and like trips and like, you know, all things that they want to be spending money on for themselves, but they don't consider you worth $15 to just keep the peace. They're not like, you know, they're weird about it, right?
You're not a girl's girl. You can't celebrate my wins. Like, your behavior, like threatening to leave the bachelorette, I was like, this is just too much for me. Like, you're supposed to celebrate the most exciting time of my life, like, not be the worst person I've ever met during that time. So I literally just said, like, I'm done, thank you, whatever, goodbye. But yeah, this is your sign that if you have any reservations about any friends, do not include them in these special moments that you can't get back again.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I like, some of my favorite posts on this channel are like when we have both sides of the story. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's a lesson on how people tend to not share the full story to get people on their side. You know? As someone who doesn't even really drink, I'm paying the $80. It's a bachelorette party, period. Real friends have money combos before trips and figure out if they can go or should go. A bachelorette party is not the place to be nickel and diming. That part. $80 for a night at a table is so cheap. It literally is. Like, I don't think you guys understand. It is cheap. 4 drinks is $80 in most places. Literally. When you're nickel and diming over special occasions like birthdays and stuff like that, it just, to me, screams you don't feel like that person is worth your money. They are just an inconvenience to you, and you're willing to be weird and throw off the vibes for like literally no reason at all.
I don't think you want any help. I think you want to have a little pity party.
And remember, guys, it's a friendship. Unless someone's taking pure advantage, ironically, it's always the people taking advantage that are the ones that have the problems with spending $5 here, $10 there, or whatever. But if it's a friendship, it always comes back around. Give that a think in your noggin. Subscribe!
My doodle. Oh, next video.
My husband doesn't see how his work wife is trying to destroy our marriage. Anybody else absolutely hates the term work wife? By the way, we've got new and improved recovering people pleaser merch for you, now available on shop.charlottedobre.net for a limited time. And don't worry, I got you. This was posted in true off my chest. I, 31 female, am at my wit's end with my husband's 32 male co-worker, Sarah, 30 female, and his complete inability to see what's happening.
Oh,
I'm
it's not that he
usually
doesn't
one
see
for
what's
Reddit,
happening,
but
it's that he
I need to
likes
know
it.
if I'm going crazy.
He likes
here.
the
Can I
attention.
tell you you're crazy? Because you know how I feel about that.
There's
Where
no way.
do I even start? 3 years ago, my husband Mark started working with Sarah. At first, I tried to be welcoming. I invited her to our barbecues, included her in group outings, and genuinely tried to be friendly. Big mistake. She spent the entire time making backhanded comments about everything from my career.
Oh, you're just a yoga instructor? How peaceful.
To my cooking.
I guess not everyone can master basic seasoning.
Ooh, yeah, those are digs. The real problem is that Mark thinks she's just being funny. Last month, she literally threw away the anniversary mug I gave him because it clashed with our office aesthetic. Do we work in like an interior design office? Like, when I got upset, Mark said I was being too sensitive and that, quote, Sarah just has high standards for office decor. It was a mug with our wedding photo on it. Okay, did she like go to his desk and like take down the photos of you guys? No. She just doesn't want to be reminded that he's in a relationship, that he's married. Some greatest hits from Sarah. She scheduled a mandatory work dinner on our anniversary. She convinced Mark not to take a promotion because it would mean working with a different team. She posts daily photos of them together with hashtags like hashtag work power couple and hashtag work spouse. She tells everyone at their office that she, quote, takes better care of him than I do. Wow, she bold. She changed his coffee order and now tells everyone she, quote, trained him right. At the end of the day, there will always be, like, if you're dating an attractive person, there's always going to be people that try to slide in there. When you have that happen, like, even the fact that she's doing it in front of you, it's not good. And I don't like that your husband is minimizing it and not putting her in her place. I feel like he's entertaining it because he enjoys it.
Yep.
The worst part,
Told ya.
my husband is completely blind to all
He's
of this.
not.
Yesterday, he actually told me about how Sarah said our new house, which we spent months searching for, was
Charming in a starter home kind of way.
He repeated this while laughing. Yeah, that's definitely a dig as well. I would say I find it odd that he's not, like, mildly insulted by the fact that she just literally shat on your new house and said it's a starter home. I tried talking to him about it, but Sarah has convinced him I'm, quote, just insecure. She managed to insert herself into every aspect of our lives. They text constantly, even on weekends. No. She knows his schedule better than I do. She rearranged his entire desk and office wardrobe because his style was too suburban husband. That's what he is. I feel like there's a lot of boundaries being crossed. And I wouldn't worry too much about Sarah also. I would say that you really need to hammer it into your husband. This is like very inappropriate. I'm all for people in relationships having friendships with the opposite sex, but there has to be like a line. No texting all the time, especially if it's like, this is supposed to be like a work colleague. Why are we texting on weekends? Boundaries really need to be set. Last week, I started marriage counseling. He looked genuinely confused. He, of course, went and talked to Sarah about it. Why is he telling Sarah all this? I found out from another coworker that she's been telling people that Mark and I are going through a rough patch and that she's just being a good friend by giving him someone to talk to. No, he can talk to his male friends, not someone that calls herself his work wife. We weren't going through anything until she started this nonsense. I would honestly also even talk to her. Maybe I'm just a little spicy with all of that. If I even see that a conversation between me and my husband is going on too long, I start to get annoyed. I just do, because what the hell are you talking about for so long?
In the Win with Zen sweepstakes, you can get a chance to win $100,000. But there's more than one way to...
The body language is also important too, because like when you're looking at your significant other talking to someone else and the someone else is, you know, just kind of like their body is just erect, for lack of a better word. I know we need to be blaming the husbands, but she's also pushing things a little bit too far here. She knows that the guy that's her work husband is married, and she has the audacity to push boundaries and insert herself in situations where she's not welcome. Situations that make his wife uncomfortable, and she needs to also respect that. The breaking point. I stopped by his office to surprise him with lunch. I know, but it was his birthday and Sarah was supposedly out sick. Guess who was there? Sarah. She miraculously recovered and brought him a cake that said, "To my work hubby," oh no, with a photo of them from the office holiday party. She saw me and said,
"Oh, Amy, you came too. How nice."
Yeah, that's his wife.
Mark, you didn't tell me your real wife was coming.
Is that really unexpected that like a wife would surprise her husband on his birthday? I'm not crazy, right? This woman is trying to destroy my marriage while my husband stands there grinning like it's all some big joke. Yeah, maybe he enjoys being fought over, honestly. They're both pushing your boundaries, and honestly, I would riot in the streets.
I told you, he likes
but
it.
There's also a small part of me that would be like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you think you could find better? Go ahead. I'm not going to fight for someone that doesn't fight for me, you know? So what do I do? Divorce seems extreme, but I'm running out of options here. I would say that stronger boundaries need to be enforced. I understand you're going to marriage counseling and stuff like that. I would literally tell your husband that unless he chooses between you and his, quote, work wife and set some serious boundaries, you're going to leave him. Edit to add, I should have stated that the promotion wasn't one that would increase his salary, but his title. It would give him more leadership experience. It still blows my mind that he turned it down just so he could stay on the same team as her. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that he's a total idiot in this case. Like you're saying, oh, he's totally clueless. Any member of the opposite sex that's like kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit like that should make him uncomfortable. And the fact that it's not, I feel like he enjoys the attention at the very least, or he's laying the groundwork to cheat. It's only a matter of time, honestly. Edit to add, I should have told the mug story in its entirety. She accidentally broke the mug. I noticed it was gone when I was visiting him one day and I asked him about it. He said she accidentally knocked it over. Interesting that it was her that knocked it over. Then later he repeated a joke she made about how it didn't fit the office aesthetic. You're right that something's off, but it's interesting that it's never anything that's too overtly cheating. It's always just like,
oh, she's just insecure.
You know what I mean? Something that could be passed off as you're insecure. You have a husband problem. Go to counseling and get professional help to communicate your concerns. Remind him that he's married to you, not Sarah, so her opinions shouldn't matter when it comes to your marriage. Good luck, but be prepared for the worst. The husband's definitely a problem. Sarah's also a problem, but I feel like Sarah wouldn't be as big of a problem if the husband wasn't setting clearer boundaries with Sarah. Yeah, this guy isn't oblivious, he's complicit. He knows what's happening and he likes the attention. He's happy to let his girlfriend disrespect his wife. He loves the attention. He enjoys it. He really, really enjoys that, you know, he's got two women fighting over him. You're very clearly jealous and you have a right to be, but it's not like delusional jealous. Like she's doing things that are very disrespectful to you and your marriage. So the fact that he doesn't at the very least defend you or defend your honor or set boundaries and say like, you know, it's very easy to just set a boundary. Like she's texting him outside of work hours and just say, hey, is this work related or is it important? Can it wait till Monday because I'm with my family right now? If he's not doing that, I'm sorry, but he is enjoying it. And I think at the very least, emotional cheating. I hate to say it, and this is kind of the perfect situation for this, but you're being a people pleaser, honey. But it's okay. Hey, we're recovering. We're learning how to not be people pleasers. She's definitely got a husband problem. As a husband myself, I can say this is beyond the pale. I would sit him down and say, look, you got 3 choices. 1, divorce. 2, marriage counseling, or 3, new job and no contact with your work wife. Pick one or I'm picking for you. Husband is either record-setting stupid or he enjoys this scenario. I'm not sure which one is worse. Let's say he is completely oblivious. He's not oblivious anymore because you have said to him that this makes you uncomfortable, that his work-wife relationship makes you uncomfortable. This whole oblivious argument does not really work anymore because he has been made aware of how you feel. So much so that you're going to marriage counseling. Anyways, let's move on to the update. This is a doozy of a story. We have a few updates. Hi, I posted a few days ago, and I really didn't expect my post to blow up the way it did. I got so overwhelmed with all the comments that I haven't responded to any. I want to address everyone who says it's fake. I understand why you think that, but this is my personal hell. I only listen to Reddit stories on TikTok, but when this reached its boiling point, I needed a place to talk. So I made an account and I tried to yell into the void. Well, the void turns out to be a little less empty than I thought. Now to why everyone is here. The update. Before I talked to my husband, 32 male, I decided to do some investigation. I started with his phone and read all the messages between him and Sarah. Ooh, yes, moving in the shadows, love that. She badmouthed me a few times. He did nothing to defend me, but didn't engage either. She was flirty. He wasn't flirty back. They talked a lot, and he praised her frequently for her work ethic and intelligence. I didn't see anything about cheating. I checked his email, nothing. I checked his work email, nothing. I looked through our other devices, nothing. I searched high and low for a second phone, nothing. Everything I found was always dancing that line. Nothing was outright cheating, but here are the things I did find that hurt my feelings. He has lunch with her and only her every day in the office. Oh my God. No. They don't really like anyone else, so they criticize others and say, let's talk more at lunch. They're serving XYZ to me. He'd say things like, I'm sure if you were a wife, you would do XYZ. He always kept it as a wife and not my wife, but it still upsets me. She admitted to breaking the mug on purpose. I knew it. He didn't get upset with her, just said, yeah, the photo gifs are kind of corny. It doesn't matter that he's not overtly responding to the flirting. He's also not shutting it down. Because I feel like he's not shutting it down because he does enjoy it. He enjoys the attention. I confronted him. I laid it all out, and while he wasn't getting upset, he did try to brush things off. He said I was being sensitive and overreacting. I told him if we didn't have a real conversation about this, I would file for divorce. That got his attention, and he sat down with me. He admitted that at first he found it odd that Sarah was trying so hard. Okay, so he does know. He saw her trying hard with all the men in the office. The more attention she gave him, the more he enjoyed it. The more he responded, the more attention she gave, until she had her sights on him. He knew some of the other men were envious, and he liked that too. He admitted that eventually he just got too deep. He said he knew it was wrong, but had gotten addicted to the attention and didn't want her to move on to another man. Still cheating. That's emotional cheating. So he indulged her sometimes at my expense. He said it was just nice to have two women in two major parts of his life, stating that he knew we'd rarely see one another, so what was the harm? Let's put it this way. If you're doing something that if you got caught, you would upset your partner, you're doing something wrong. He reiterated that he never ever physically cheated with her, but admitted it could be called an emotional affair. It was painful. I won't hide that, but I mean really painful. Like I wasn't enough. I told him from this point on, he needed to stop communicating with Sarah and ask to be transferred or switch jobs altogether. Now, folks, I mean it when I tell you this. He lost his... He's fighting for Sarah and to be around Sarah, but he's not fighting for his marriage.
Now at Denny's, we have value meals under $10, like our chorizo with jalapeno scrambler, a classic burger, the new Grand Slam burrito.
Burp. He began raising his voice, saying things like he never cheated, it was all above board, and I couldn't control who he talked with at work. He called me a narcissist and a control freak. He told me I had no idea how hard it was, how much stress he had in the office, and that his personal relationship with Sarah helps a lot. Taking it away would just damage his mental health. You know what else would damage his mental health? A divorce. A very messy divorce. It got so bad that I started crying. I couldn't take it anymore and decided to leave. I took a small bag and called my mother-in-law. She's the only family I have here. I gave her a rundown of what's going on, and she offered her home to me. Interesting that you went to the mother-in-law. I'm curious to know what she says and does about this. I'm staying here and just hoping my husband calms down so we can revisit this. I want it to work out. I love him more than anything. Yeah, I mean, everyone in the comments is just like, well, yeah, like we told you, like he's not clueless. He enjoys the attention. The way that he reacts to like his plaything getting taken away is very telling. Like he's acting like a toddler that just got his favorite toy taken away from him and is in timeout. He's fighting harder for Sarah than he is for you. Even knowing that divorce is on the table. I understand that you love this guy, but like, what the dude? So we have another update. Well, I'm back. First, I want to address some of the negative comments. To all the people saying they're team Sarah and hoping Sarah and my husband get together. Who said that? Oh my goodness. I even saw a nasty comment saying Sarah and my husband would be the office power couple. Okay, go for it then. Do not fight for someone who does not fight for you. How can you sit here and say nothing is going on? You claim my husband didn't cheat and I'm being crazy, yet in the same breath, wish they would get together? You're contradicting yourself because deep down, you know something romantic was developing. Don't listen to Reddit, honestly. Like, I love Reddit and I hate Reddit. There's some weird opinions and just know that they're projecting. They wish they had a work wife, let's just say that. Now for the update. My husband came to my mother-in-law's house. She didn't call him. He knew I was there because I told him and said he wanted to talk. Some big things happened. He wanted to explain. According to my husband, after I left, he started to reflect. He did call his mom and they had a long talk. I didn't know any of this. She asked him if he was happy with me and he said yes, but I made him extremely happy. I was a good wife and great partner. This is kind of what it all sunk into him, that he was being juvenile for wanting attention from another woman. He said he couldn't explain, it just felt good. My goodness. I'm rolling my eyes for those of you who are just listening. He assured me he never wanted to sleep with her and never advanced things that way. It was just nice having someone who was fawning over him like a fan. For those of you who said he didn't know what an emotional affair was and was just agreeing with me, you were right. He admitted that he didn't really understand what an emotional affair was, but after looking it up, he agreed that's what it was, though unintentional. He said he didn't want to lose his friend, so he just went along with a lot of what she did. He admitted that he was deep into a fog, but me leaving and this conversation with his mom was the one thing that brought him out of it. He said he didn't want to fight. My husband is big on giving me space, so when I left, he didn't chase after me because he thought it would be best for us to just cool down and think about this and hopefully come back and discuss it more rationally. He did reach out to Sarah. Though they didn't meet in person, they had a phone call. He told her they couldn't remain as close, that their office texts and calls needed to stop, that he would get a replacement mug she wasn't to touch, and that they needed to cut back on their lunges. He wanted to handle this before talking to me to show he was serious. Sarah didn't take it well. She started berating me, saying I was forcing him to do this. My husband stopped her and said no, he was doing this because his marriage was important. He admitted to letting things go too far, but clarified he had no romantic interest in her. He told her if she had feelings for him, she needed to distance herself immediately. I'm not gonna lie, I do like where this is going. I just wish that he did this sooner. I don't know, we're never wrong, right? Like, there's some of us that are like damaged and like, you know, maybe we're projecting because like when your wife is telling you that she is uncomfortable with the situation and people are disrespecting her, believe her. Because she should be able to come to you and confide in you and you should listen and act accordingly. Sarah ended up ruining their friendship herself. Though my husband was willing to maintain a more distant friendship, her comments about me and him, claiming she'd never want him and that everything she did was because she knew we weren't meant to be together. So she doesn't want him, but she was just home wrecking. And she was trying to open his eyes to date somebody else who didn't want him. No. Her ego is hurt. She did want him. Nobody spends that much time with another person if they're not interested, you know? He said he couldn't believe he'd never seen how vindictive and awful she was. I mean, what do you mean? Like, she's blatantly disrespecting your marriage, like, in your face. She was almost venomous. It didn't end well. After handling that situation, he came to see me, wanting to ensure I knew he understood and was taking the proper steps. He said we could do whatever I needed. I know some of you will say I'm wrong, that divorce is the only option because he had an emotional affair. I'm sorry to disappoint, but I'm not divorcing my husband. Okay. At the very least, therapy, counseling is definitely needed. I wish that he had done all of those things sooner and not when just he was afraid of losing you. But he did do them, so that's a good step. And hopefully in the future, he will be better. I would log that away, you know what I mean? Like, just keep it in your psyche and pay attention to little things and trust your instincts because you were right. I told him we needed counseling for both of us. Yes, going through all his devices, emails and texts might have been extreme. He agreed it felt like a breach of privacy, but understood given the circumstances. I told him we both needed to work on things. As of right now, I guess you could say we're separated. We're not staying in the same house. We're going to attend counseling. I don't want to just jump back into things with him. I don't want it to seem like it was okay to make me feel like I was the second option, to ignore all those red flags and to brush me off. This has to be worked on. I'm leaving his mother's house and staying with a friend. Okay, I'm really proud of you. I feel like this is good. It is important to fight for marriages. You know, it's easy for us to be like, divorce him, babes, whatever. But like, you know, at the end of the day, you did make a vow. Yes, he emotionally cheated. Some people would stay, some people would not. It is a breach of trust. He did betray you. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like we can't judge an entire marriage based on like a couple of posts on Reddit. So if she wants to try and work on her marriage, then she's entitled to do that. I feel like it's noble to like want to stay and work on a marriage. And I also feel like it's noble to leave. I'm not sure if anyone's going to want an update after this, always. Sorry it's so anticlimactic. Sorry it's the typical, oh, and you just got back together. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I love my husband. I know he loves me. I don't think everything is an end all be all. Yes, it's a terrible situation. Yes, he did a terrible thing, but I want my marriage to last, so we're giving it another go. I genuinely hope this is my last update, but if it's not, spoiler alert, it's not. Y'all will know. Thank you for all the messages, all the support, and everything. It's really been a huge help. The next update was actually deleted. Or removed, but we do have it. Oh, I got it for you. My husband's ex-work wife has started a smear campaign. Hi Reddit, we are continuing our work wife saga. As a lot of you predicted in my last update, Sarah wasn't happy about my husband ending their friendship and trying to put distance between him and her. I thought she was going to reach out to me, but she never did. Why? Because this was never about me. I was not even on her radar except for somebody to tear down. I will give Sarah one thing. She's extremely efficient. She started her campaign long before Monday morning. Over the weekend, she reached out to several of my husband's co-workers, mostly male. She told them my husband had randomly stopped being friends with her and she suspected it was my fault. She said she couldn't believe it. Everyone knew how close they were. She just felt bad for him, wanting to be a friend for him and hopefully help him out of a terrible marriage. Help him out of a terrible marriage? That's an interesting term for a homewrecker. She went on and on about how she couldn't believe how much this is going to affect her during her working hours, that she didn't know if she could continue working at this job. One of the female co-workers at my husband's job messaged me all of this. As a lot of you predicted, she's gearing up to accuse my husband of harassment. Wow. It's interesting that she wants to do this when you're the one that has all these texts of her being flirty and not the other way around. Monday alone, she's put herself in the path of my husband multiple times. It kind of feels like she's setting up to do a he said, she said argument because she's doing a lot of odd things, at least according to my husband. Think stuff like intentionally following my husband into a room or a section of the office that is somewhat closed off, accidentally emailing him or forwarding him things, going to his cubicle multiple times a day for no reason, sitting close to him in meetings. It seems harmless, but it really feels like she's gearing up for something. I would say that this is borderline harassment. It's not harmless. That is harassment. That is unwanted attention from someone that you have set a boundary with. So, HR. My husband did go to HR first thing on Monday morning, and I kind of thought they pretty much said they can't do anything unless it affects work or working hours. His HR is not the greatest. He did let them know what she was doing today, but honestly, I don't think they took him seriously. Ugh. I bet they take her seriously, though. We've been thinking about moving. The only thing that keeps us here, really, is his mom. So he might just transfer jobs. We're not really sure. I hope things don't escalate anymore since he went to HR already. I'm hoping that nothing big happens. I'd like to give a little update about our counseling. All the people who tell me I'm making a mistake by giving my husband another chance and trying to work it out, I'm so happy I didn't listen to you. I understand it's a healthy situation. I lived through it. I know it is. I know how it felt. But counseling has revealed a lot about my husband that I didn't even know. Apparently he was bullied severely in high school and he kind of went through a little glow up when he went into college. Sarah's definitely one of those stereotypical blonde pretty girls, and my husband admits it did kind of feel like he finally got his chance to be popular in a social setting. My husband admitted that Sarah basically mirrored everything about him, his likes, his dislikes. She talked to him like he walked on water. It definitely sounded like she was boosting his ego in a manipulative fashion. Like I said, this isn't just a forgive and move on kind of situation. But hearing my husband talk about how it felt, the way it affected him, it made me have a lot more sympathy for him. I still haven't come back home, but we're doing it one day at a time. I went and had lunch with him on Monday and I'm going again today. I'm trying to be there for him so he doesn't feel alone. I'm really ready for all of this to die down. Farther at work, but if it does, we'll deal with it. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of I need to be there for him. I'm being understanding of him. I think that it's important to note his trauma and note like what he's been through and why he acted the way he did. But that doesn't mean that you need to go like rushing back to him, because at the end of the day, he knew what he was doing is wrong. Yeah, there were a few things that you said that are like, oh, let me just coddle him now. I don't know. It sounds a little like playing the victim. I'm not gonna lie. Girl, he needs to be there for you. This is his problem. He started this. He flirted with a girl and gave her false hope. Yes, she is crazy, but he needs to be comforting you. I'm actually baffled how it switched to making sure he's okay. Mans was okay when he had all the attention he wanted. I fail to understand how he's the victim in this situation, you know? He's not the victim. You are the victim. I don't like where this is going. So a lot of people are pointing out that he never apologized. I don't know if it's because OP didn't mention it, but it sounds like he still didn't even apologize or attempt to make up for his actions. And now he's playing the victim. OP's protecting this man as if he's a child who doesn't know any better. I would say that this is not the last we have heard from Honeybell Mama. Let's just say I have some concerns. But that's all we have for today. Subscribe!
Have you seen anything like this at the drugstore? No, you haven't. Look, Optic is...
Blah, 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 drugstore.
My boyfriend embarrassed me at a wedding. Should I break up with him?
I do.
This was originally posted in relationship advice. Okay, 24 female, boyfriend, 31 male, got trashed at a wedding where I was the maid of honor.
Oh my god, are you drunk?
Nobody, my wife.
He embarrassed me and himself and proceeded to lie about some things. About a year and a half ago, my best friend became engaged to her now husband. I was asked to be the maid of honor and was extremely happy to do so. Over the past year, I helped her with whatever needed to be done. Throughout all of this, I talked to my boyfriend about it. He knew how happy I was for her. He knew that I had a big part in the wedding. He knew my parents would be attending the wedding. He knew everything that I knew about the wedding. He knew the day and time and what would be expected of him and when he needs to show up. For what it's worth, I didn't talk his ear off about the wedding. I would really only talk about it if I had gone, for example, dress shopping or something with my friend. However, last week, a couple of days before the wedding, he started to act kind of weird about it. He said something along the lines of, "I know you don't want to be involved in the wedding. It'll be over soon."
What?
Okay. And then you can forget all about it and everything will be normal again. I've been nothing but happy and excited for my friend and this wedding, but he continued to act like I wasn't having fun and tried to convince me that I hated every minute of helping my friend plan her wedding.
Oh, you think that's weird?
Okay. Last week, he continued talking about the wedding like it was something awful and stupid. He treated it as an annoying chore we had to do. He complained about having to go. He even asked me after the rehearsal dinner if he could just not go to the wedding at all. Keep in mind, I had already RSVP'd for both of us. My parents were expecting him. He just dropped that on me as we were going to bed before the wedding day. He's also never expressed his congratulations toward the bride and groom at any point. What is going on here?
There's something funny here, boy?
Something fishy's going on.
I smell fishy.
No, I don't. This smells fishy. I don't smell fishy. The day of the wedding was this past Saturday. I told my boyfriend what time he needed to show up. Lately, he's been notoriously late for everything. Like several hours late to anything he's invited to. He's always been late, but it's been getting ridiculous. A lot of times he's late because he's hanging out with one of his friends, smoking the devil's lettuce and playing video games, and he ends up losing track of time. I didn't want him to be late to my best friend's wedding, so I basically told him he needed to be there 3 hours earlier than what was necessary. I told him he needed to be there at 1 p.m. when in reality he needed to be there before 4:30. He showed up at around 4:30 p.m. Okay, it is one thing if you're like 20 minutes late to things, occasionally 30 or 40.
Oh my goodness, biscuits! I'm late.
But 3 hours? Ooh, no. And not to a wedding. I'm sorry. He would have missed like literally the whole thing and showed up at dinner if you hadn't told him to come earlier. Ugh, I hate it when people are late. I hate it because 3 hours is not.
Oh, I lost track of time.
That is blatant disrespect. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. This is a hill I will die on. So he got there right as cocktail hours started and got drunk. So he missed the wedding. I was told by someone else that he was pounding back all the beers as soon as the bartender started to serve alcohol. Then he sat with my parents and told my mom, if I didn't come to this thing, OP would have killed me. Once the bride and groom were announced, Mr. and Mrs. X, my boyfriend loudly cheered and loudly clapped as everyone else did a normal clap. It wasn't a very big wedding, so it was weird and awkward when he did this. It stood out a lot, and it was obvious that he was already inebriated. Multiple people looked over at him in a WTF way. I felt awful and embarrassed when this happened. Okay, I think it's like a general rule of thumb that like weddings are like everybody gets hammered, okay? I was definitely hammered at my wedding. I've been hammered at other people's weddings. But like, let's get hammered when things start to like, you know, like when the dancing starts, not before, you know? Because like when the parents are still there, it's kind of embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
Oh man, keep it cute, keep it tight until the parents go home. And if they stay past like 10 o'clock, then they know that like what they're getting themselves into, you know? If there's parents and older people and kids and stuff staying that late, then they know that things are about to get saucy, okay? It is in poor taste to be super hammered at a wedding. I will just say that. Like, it's normal to be hammered, but like, let's keep it for like later on. After all the photos were taken, he found me and told me that his work called and he needed to go in ASAP. Go in drunk? Like that day?
I'm drunk now.
Before the wedding, he assured me he'd taken the day off and that his work, he's a bartender, knew he would be at a wedding that day. I knew he was lying to me, but I didn't care at that point. He left. He Ubered to supposedly go to work. He cheating. I feel like he cheating. Maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse, but like it would kind of make sense why he's like making fun of the idea of like commitment and marriage and doesn't even want to be at a wedding. To put it bluntly, weddings make you look at your own relationships or lack thereof. It's kind of a point where it's like maybe he's looking at that wedding and being like, oh, maybe you're gonna want to get engaged, and he doesn't want that, so he's trying to make a mockery of the whole thing. He's trying to say that it's a bad,
like, oh god, weddings.
I don't think that that's how you feel about it, that you don't want to be involved in this wedding and you're not excited about it. I think that's how he feels about it. So when I finally got home at around 2 a.m., he told me that it turned out that work didn't actually need him and he forgot the name of the venue, so he couldn't Uber back to it. And that his phone was acting weird and couldn't get a message to be sent to me.
Sure.
Okay, so but he had the venue in his phone because he Ubered from the venue to work. So the address would have been saved in his phone. No. He lied about something. He told me how he really wanted to come back to the reception, but he just couldn't make it happen. Obviously, those were all lies. I feel like his behavior was just abhorrent. I'm so pissed at him right now. I'm looking at him in a new negative light, and I can't stop thinking how awful he was throughout the whole wedding event.
Disgusted.
I know some people act weird about weddings sometimes, but this takes the frickin' cake. Is there any coming back from this? I feel like I'm always going to be pissed off about what happened. I don't know if I can forgive him.
I do.
I've thought about ending it with him because of this. I don't know if I'm overreacting or I don't think he has any intentions of apologizing. We haven't talked about the wedding that much since this past Saturday. He doesn't think he's done anything wrong. What do I do? Am I crazy to think his actions are god-awful?
Nope.
Yeah, I think that you're right in that this behavior, there's something going on here. I feel like it's also in relation to like maybe commitment. The wedding is a symbol of commitment. He doesn't seem to be able to commit to a wedding, let alone a time to show up to things.
About time.
I don't know. Honestly, I would break up with someone if they were 3 hours late to like, especially if they kept me waiting. If it was something that was like a regular thing, absolutely not. No way. Mike used to be late, and to be fair, Mike was late because his mom's almost always late. It's just kind of, it's the way that his family functions. It's just like, you know, they say a time and it's more of like a loose suggestion. I'm not like that.
Punctuality.
So he can be that way with his family because that's how they normally do things. And, you know, we've adjusted to be like, okay, they say 7, it's probably more like 7:20, etc. I personally, when I tell you I'm going to be somewhere, I'm there 10 minutes early.
I need them to show up on time, so when I finally show up, we can get started right away.
Doesn't really work if someone is 3 hours late. I would break up with someone just purely on the fact that he's late all the time, let alone the like being like a drunken loser. Like, yeah, it is a little inappropriate, and he is lying about things. Yeah, I don't know. There's something going on here. So some of the comments, girl, he sounds like a toddler. You're a girlfriend, not a mother. Why are you putting up with this? OOP responds, honestly, I don't know. We've been together for 4 years and he hasn't always been this bad. So 4 years and you're not engaged. I mean, it's not ideal, but it does kind of explain the behavior, right? I've noticed his behavior has gone downhill over the past year. He's cut back hours on work and makes just enough money to make ends meet. He just wants to hang out with his friends who don't have jobs. He smokes for free with them.
And I like to party.
I think this may be the last straw, though. I'm going to have to end it with him. It just sucks because he wasn't always this bad. Yeah, it kind of just sounds like he's going through a bit of like a
I want to just never grow up phase.
I just want to hang out with my friends and like Mary Jane and stuff like that, and like I don't want to like take work seriously. I don't want to take commitments seriously or being on time seriously. Like that's what this is giving. Consider that he was always like this, but you're growing up and maturing where he hasn't. 4 years puts you guys at 27 and 20. Might be just that you didn't notice because you had different priorities. OP said, this is a strong possibility. When we met, I was in college, and like a lot of college students, I went out, partied a lot. I had fun and stayed up super late. But now I'm working full-time and going to grad school part-time. I want to be successful in the future. He's basically stayed the same these past 4 years. He's always talked about going back to school and finishing his degree or doing something else with his life. He hasn't done anything with himself.
What the hell's going on over here?
I don't really think I saw that or cared when we met, and I was only 20. I feel like all of this behavior is him trying to just rebel against the whole growing up thing. Maybe. How long have you been dating? Have you two discussed marriage? His behavior was horrendous. I don't know if I would forgive it. My guess is he saw you happy about the wedding and doesn't want to commit, got scared because you now expect a proposal, and deliberately sabotaged everything because he's a giant immature canoe. I mean, lock it. OOP said, we've been together for 4 years. We've talked about marriage. He's brought it up in the past and mentioned it would be great if we got married one day. I told him I wanted to wait until after I finished grad school and we moved into a house first. However, I'm rethinking our entire relationship now. After reading a few responses here, I feel like I probably won't be able to forgive him after this. So edit to add, I was not expecting this to blow up. I was wanting to create a throwaway account so my posts wouldn't be that noticeable. Oh well, my boyfriend uses Reddit, but I don't think he goes to the relationship subreddits at all. Anyways, I tried most of the comments here, and I've been thinking about what you all have said. It's basically confirmed that I need to end things with him.
I'm going to have to dump you.
I actually tried to end things with him a couple of hours ago. He doesn't seem to be accepting of the breakup. He started to apologize to me about what happened and how he'll try to do better. I'm currently at a friend's house for the night. I brought some things with me, but that should last a couple of days. But I'm really not sure what else to do. Both our names are on the lease and he's still at the apartment for all I know. As of now, he doesn't want to leave the apartment, so we'll see what happens. So we do have an update 9 days later. First of all, thank you to everyone who commented on my last post. It gave me a lot to think about and confirmed things for me that I wasn't ready to admit. Second, there were frequent comments about my ex and I wanted to clear up. Ex, you say? Some people thought he had anxiety about weddings or people he didn't know. He knew the bride and groom very well, and we used to go out on double dates a lot. He's even spent time one-on-one with the groom. He knew a lot of other people at the wedding. He only sat with my parents because my parents didn't know anyone else besides the bride and a couple of my other friends who were bridesmaids or were part of the wedding in some way. He's a social butterfly and has been to more weddings than me. He's even gone solo to a couple of weddings he was invited to, no plus one, for former co-workers while we were together. Many people suggested he had a crush on the bride. I can't confirm this, but I'm leaning toward no. It's possible, of course, doesn't matter at this point. It could be, but I think this is also just good old-fashioned, he doesn't like what this wedding represents, which is also everyone around him starting to grow up, and he doesn't want to.
You wake up in the morning, you start putting on my big boy pants.
All I can really say is they are complete opposites. They have little in common, and he would consider her not his type. This is not an insult to the bride. She's a beautiful person, and I'm considered his type. Again, he may have had feelings for her, but if he did, I never picked up on it. After I initially tried to end it with him, he texted and called and DM'd me and basically used any means of communication possible to get my attention. He started by apologizing profusely and asking him to give him another chance. I didn't respond to all of this because I don't know what to say. I turned off my phone before I went to sleep, and when I woke up, I had a ton of voicemails and messages.
Gazillion text messages.
He sounded extremely angry in some of them, called me names, told me he hated me, said the classic line of,
"You'll never do better than me."
I mean, at the very least, you can find someone who shows up when he's supposed to. That's not that hard to find. Some of the last messages he sent were him apologizing for the messages he left throughout the night because he was drunk and that it didn't count, whatever. That's how he acts when he's drunk. The apartment issue has been a nightmare. It's going to be extremely expensive to get out of the lease and only have his name on it. Apparently, they need both of our signatures in order for this to happen, and I'll need to pay a fee. The only communication I've had with my ex is to ask him to sign the new leasing agreement, which he refuses to do. I still had to pay for rent for March. The lease isn't up for several more months. I can't afford to pay 2 rents at once. Ew. This is a messy situation. Messy situation. I did manage to get my stuff out. I called the bar he works at and talked to one of the women there I felt comfortable with. I told her my situation and asked if she could call me the next time he showed up for his shift so I could get my things. I had a bunch of my friends come to the apartment with boxes and plastic tubs and got most of my stuff. Unfortunately, my TV, it's huge, sofa, and a couple of other larger things couldn't be grabbed, but I got everything important. When he found out I took all my stuff, the text messages and voicemails began again, where he spewed more vitriol at me, demanding me to come home immediately. No. And that certainly isn't going to make you want to come home at all either. The next day, he started sending me apology messages. Ooh, this flip-floppy shit. It's signs of a few things. It could be signs of substance abuse. It could be signs of narcissism. Whatever sign it is, it's not a good sign. It's a stop sign. It's a U-turn sign. My current challenges are trying to find a place to live for the next few months and what to do about the current lease with both our names. I have friends that understand my situation and are allowing me to couch surf for a bit, but it's not a permanent solution. I'm still trying to figure out how to get out of this lease, but the apartment management has been difficult.
Something in this shared space reeks.
I'm not totally convinced that they need both signatures, but that's what they keep stressing. I find it weird that they're stressing on this signature when you're literally in a very, potentially kind of unsafe situation and you need to get away from this person and you need to stop contact with this person. I find it weird that they're not understanding of that. What? The worst case scenario is I have to quit my job and live with my parents for a bit. They are an hour away, and drive an hour to class a few times a week until the semester is over. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like an awful situation, but at least, it's a less bad situation than what you were in.
Get out.
This was at the start of COVID. It's almost like the apartment management didn't want her to break the lease because of COVID. I would look into those 2 signature rules or whatever on that stuff. It sounds like they would have maybe had an issue with finding someone else to take the apartment. It's interesting that this all happened right before the COVID shutdown. Because imagine being stuck in this situation and literally stuck. You're not allowed to leave your house. Yeah, this was posted a very, very long time ago.
1995 call.
We're going on almost 6 years ago. So it's interesting that that's what happened and the timing of it all. But I would say that you got out at a perfect time. I'm glad that you broke up with your boyfriend, OP. His reaction was very telling. And I think you got out at the exact perfect time. Am I the a-hole for being angry at my girlfriend for basically abandoning me during our couple vacation? I, 27 male, and my girlfriend, 26 female, have been together for 4 years and lived together for nearly 2 years. Recently, due to our work schedule, we've been unable to go out much. My girlfriend loves skiing, I'm a newbie, hiking, and climbing. I can't do this due to my fear of heights. A few weeks ago was her birthday. I bought her a necklace and proposed to her to organize a couple's trip on the mountains. I paid for it. I thought you were gonna say you proposed, ask her to marry you. This was the schedule we came up with. Day 1, skiing separately. Day 2, skiing alone and visiting a particular tourist spot we saw on the internet in the evening. Day 3, hiking together while chatting. Day 4, visiting the town nearby. Day 5, visiting another tourist spot and more in general, free time together. Day 6, go back home.
I need a vacation.
1 week before our trip, she informed me she had invited one of her friends and her boyfriend to come with us. She would pay for their hotel and they would pay for the rest. Oh, on a romantic getaway with you two and she invited something? No. I was a bit upset because she didn't even ask me. Yeah, no. Despite the schedule, this is how we spent the days. Day 1, skiing. Day 2, skiing. Day 3, hiking. She talked to her friends the whole time. Day 4, skiing and visiting the town nearby as a group. Day 5, she found out there was a climbing spot nearby and decided to go there in the morning. She was supposed to come back at 1, but came back in the evening.
That's weird. That's weird.
Okay. So you literally had no alone time together and you paid for the entire trip. Okay. During the whole trip, I asked her multiple times if we could do something together as a couple. And every time she told me we would spend the 5th day alone together. That didn't happen, so we basically spent 0 time together. I tried to let it go, but once we got home, she realized I was upset. So I told her I was happy, she had fun, but upset our couples trip became a group trip in which she either abandoned or ignored me. She got angry, claiming that since this was supposed to be her birthday trip, she had the right to decide what she wanted to do. Am I the a-hole for being angry over what happened? Yeah. No, oh, sorry, no. No. You're not the a-hole at all. I would say she's kind of being an a-hole. Like, I understand it's her birthday trip and stuff, but like, you planned this trip for the 2 of you, you know? If she wanted to do something as like a group thing, she could have raised the issue with her, but she just invited her friends to a trip that you planned and paid for. Yeah, I don't know. I would feel like quite sad.
Sad.
Quite sad. Not the a-hole, you basically paid to go someplace and be alone. Can't wait to hear how you are sitting alone on your honeymoon while she is parasailing. Seriously discuss with her why she thought this was okay, as she spent 0 time with you as the couple, then lied to you and left you the entire 5th day by yourself instead of spending it with you. If this is normal behavior for her, you might want to explore other options. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, I would honestly be kind of, this is like embarrassing. Like, your boyfriend does this nice thing for you and like he plans this trip doing all the things that you like doing, and then you repay him by like ignoring him and hanging out with other people the entire time and making it a group trip. Like, that's
bullshit, dude.
And then she also paid for her friend's hotel. I just like, yeah, weird. Not the a-hole, she dismissed your feelings, then proceeded to plan this whole trip on your dime to invite her friends. Try to talk it out with her so she can understand why you're feeling this way, and if she continues to be rude, then man, I don't know if she's the one for you. Yeah, and like, I understand that this whole, like, you know, she's a bit of a daredevil, she likes the skiing and the hiking and the climbing and stuff like that, but like, and I understand that you're at different levels, but I like doing lots of things. But when, you know, we're on a couples trip, I don't just go off by myself and like do things that I enjoy because I enjoy them, and I leave Mike to just like be on his own. Like, I don't do that, you know? You make compromises as a girlfriend or as a wife or a fiance or whatever. I just find that odd that she wants to separate the 2 of you.
They can't keep me out there.
It's a little rude. Not a little, like really rude. You went out of your way to compromise for her and start learning, you know, these skills like skiing and stuff like that. You're genuinely scared of doing a lot of these things, and her response is to just do them without you on a trip that you're supposed to be together. Like, that's not a kind thing to do.
I didn't appreciate it then, I don't appreciate it now.
Not the a-hole, your girlfriend sucks. It may have been her present, but it was a specific present, a couple's trip. That she invited her friend in the first place was an a-hole move. Spending the week with her instead of you was the equivalent of her screaming in your face that she has no interest in you or spending time with you. Literally, like, it's weird behavior, and it just seems like she doesn't want to spend time with you, because if she did, she would have, and wouldn't have made plans to not only be with other people, but also like no alone time. She goes off and she does what she likes doing and leaves you by yourself. It sounds like you're making a lot of compromises and she's not making any for you.
No, ma'am, this is not a good idea.
She has no better explanation than saying she wasn't wrong. Sorry, but she's done with you. Yeah, it kind of sounds like she's already kind of ended it. Like, maybe she wanted a free trip. Maybe she can't afford to live on her own yet. Maybe she doesn't know how to tell you, but she's avoiding being alone with you for some reason. Not the a-hole, she outright dismissed your feelings and decided to invite her friends. I get you've been together for this long, but I don't see how your relationship can improve. This trip was supposed to be for the 2 of you, and yet others joined in. I can't imagine what would happen if you had a honeymoon with her. She would have invited her friends. OP said, oh, I didn't want to reveal this bit since it wasn't exactly a core point for this post. I had bought a ring, and I intended to propose to her on this trip. Doesn't surprise me. I decided to wait when she invited her friends, but I brought the ring anyway just in case there was a right moment. I guess fate wanted to send me a message. Yeah, wow, that's, yeah, no, like people in the comments are just like, dude, this is a huge red flag. Like, you literally went on a trip, you intended to propose to this person, and the whole time she just ignores you? Like, no! She ditches you and ignores you, and you want to propose to her? No! Don't marry her! End it, for the love of God, please. Okay, we do have an update. I stayed at a friend's house for the last couple of days. I didn't have the strength to deal with my girlfriend. I read all of your comments and advice yesterday. I went back home today and waited in the living room for her to come back. I was obviously still upset, but I tried to stay calm and asked her how she felt about the trip and about what I had told her after we came back. She reiterated that she thought I was exaggerating and the trip was a success and that everybody had fun. Everybody but her boyfriend, who was going to be her fiance? Okay. I reminded her that we originally agreed that this was supposed to be a trip for us to spend some time together. I asked her if she really thought that even under that POV, the trip had been a success. She hesitated, but said that we will have plenty of time to spend together in the future. I told her I doubted it and showed her the engagement ring, as you should have, I'd bought to propose to her. I explained that before the trip, I was sure she was the woman I would have loved to spend my whole life with. But after that, after what happened, I reflected deeply on our relationship and realized it wasn't working out. I would have loved to see her face. But it also, like, it doesn't really sound like she wanted to marry you anyway. Like, it's evident in the fact that OP is making all of these compromises to do more things that he's scared of or that he's not good at to be able to spend time with his girlfriend. While at the same time, she doesn't really seem to be making many compromises for her boyfriend. Her solution to him not knowing how to ski as well as her, or him not knowing how to climb, is literally to just ditch him and do it without him on a trip where they're supposed to be together. So long, goodbye, have a nice trip. That's weird. That's weird behavior. Like, I mean, it's weird in the sense that she doesn't want to spend time with him. That's what I'm trying to say. It's obvious, like, it really is. I explained how much I sacrificed for her in the past, only to be left alone when I needed help, and how much what she did in the trip hurt me. She tried to say something, but I told her I was sick of listening to her and never being listened to.
You can all suck it!
Period. Know your worth. I told her I didn't want to listen to her now and probably not in the future, ever. We broke up. The house is mine, so she went to stay with a friend. I wanted to thank all the people who commented under the original post for the advice. Thank you, and goodbye. Okay, bye. Honestly, I feel like this is for the best, like, genuinely. It was already super weird to begin with, and, like, you know, it was giving proposal trip, right? Because you're doing all these things she likes for her birthday, you're doing them in locations that she loves so much. It was screaming proposal trip. Maybe she was trying to avoid the proposal, but at the very least, she was trying to avoid OP. So it sucks to be in this situation. He really thought that he was going to spend the rest of his life with her, but the signs are there, the red flags are there, and whether she put her friends into this situation to avoid the proposal, or, you know, maybe it was just a way of diverting what was inevitable, I genuinely think that this is a good thing.
Someone tell me how to feel.
And it sounds like you're a really accommodating partner, and you were willing to do a lot, like, you know, not only learn what she loves and adopt some of the same hobbies, but sacrifice a lot of things. You sound like someone who will be a really good husband in the future. And what you did was very thoughtful, and I hope that you do it for someone who appreciates it in the future. So are you the a-hole for being angry at my girlfriend for basically abandoning me during our couple vacation? No. Subscribe!
I am subscribed. Da-da-da-dum.
Are you looking for an affordable
I don't know why she
way
tells
to
me to
replace your
subscribe
home's
every time.
old,
I'm already
worn-out heat pump?
subscribed.
If that's the case, then you're going to want to watch this video because right
I caught my wife with my boss.
Oh, right.
So, I, 39 male, just caught my wife, 38 female, of 14 years, together 17 years, cheating on me with her district manager of Aramark Refreshments for about 2 years now. 2 years. That ain't just cheating, that's a full-blown affair. Before I get into details, there is a backstory to all of this. I want you all to get a full picture and decide if she was entitled to cheat, or did I just pay off a debt I owed? Entitled to cheat. I would say the only time that someone is entitled to cheat is
never.
Is if you cheated first. And even then,
Just break up normally?
you know, like payback.
Well, you went outside our marriage, now I am.
All right. In 2012, I took my wife to get her tonsils removed at the hospital. They gave me her belongings as she couldn't take them inside the surgery room. Her phone kept buzzing. I took it upon myself to see who was blowing her up, and I read tons of inappropriate emails with another man at work. She was reading 50 Shades of Grey at the time.
Ooh, spicy.
And was referring to the man as her Christian Grey, something she would also call me. I was pissed and wanted answers, but unfortunately she couldn't talk after surgery, so on the drive home I handed her a piece of paper with a pen to answer all the questions I had, and she wrote, "It was nothing but flirting." Still emotional cheating though. I don't buy that. If someone is like talking in emails like that, imagine what they're saying in person. I grabbed my 2-year-old and briefcase of clothes and went from California to Arizona on a mini weekend getaway with my support team, my best friend and his wife, to stay away from her for a while. Once back, she informed me she deleted her email and it won't happen again.
That's what they all say.
Okay. Fast forward a few years, and I could never get over the fact that she would betray me the way she did. I wanted to get even and felt it was the only way to move forward. I met a client who showed me some attention.
Fucking knew it. Be right back.
Well, I had a little chicken. She couldn't lay an egg. Then you had some hot chocolate. She drank it to the drinks. The little chicken hollow. She balanced on one leg. My silly little chicken laid an Easter egg. An Easter egg. An Easter egg. My silly little chicken made an Easter egg.
So loud! Whatever. It's gonna be loud. Oh my ass. Ass and ass. Let's just...
Me feel English? That's impossible.
Stop making me poop! Keep getting. Oh, it's a very nice Cat, you're an absolute dickhead. Who buys an Alice a white accessory? Cat does. Cat does. Cat, you ass. I know you're gonna be watching this later or possibly right now. Cat, you ass! White! White, girl! White! Oh no, it's that dick!
Oh no, it's Dick. Oh no, it's Dick. Hey girl, hey!
Hey girl, hey! Poops.
Hero Zero F Hylia rated your channel with 15 viewers.
Yay!
Luminari followed your channel.
Please, up out of the Alice way. We're no straight. All of them behind my computer. All the bulls. Just every single in one.
Getting more than 2 bounces is oh shit.
Eat all the dicks. All the dicks. You just had to get it over and then we had to teamwork it the rest of the way. All the dicks, girl. Yes! Good job, Javi. You were the best.
Alice plays with toys today. Cello person joins the fray. Little cat makes life so bright. Toys and games till late at night. Auntie
Dude, that took a sec. Sorry, the Amazon was here, and I had to wee. Ready. Back to Charlotte.
Interesting. We started texting, and while my wife would go out with her friends and party, I would secretly leave my son with my mom and go see this woman. Oh, interesting.
Just break up.
We had an affair, and I eventually fell in love with this other woman. After about 9 months, my affair partner tells me she's pregnant. First thing that came to my head was playing Usher's confession song and actually confessing to my wife, which I did. She took it pretty well. She told me she had an idea and God was preparing her for that moment. I told her I wanted a divorce and would like to start a new life with this other woman. She told me we can work things out, go to church more and get therapy from the pastor, and all would be great. How could I say no to that?
No.
I had to break the news to the pregnant affair partner, who was under the impression that we were going to start a new life together, and got bad news that we weren't. Fast forward a few months, and I found out my wife is now pregnant, 3 months apart from the affair partner. She wanted to feel more secured over the other woman, so she basically forced us to have another child together.
Yikes.
Okay. It's December 2014, and I went from having 1 kid to 3 kids in the blink of an eye. It's been crazy, but I'm there for all my kids. Now let's jump over to the present time. Wife and I have had our fair share of bumps on the road, but I truly am loving the way we are raising our beautiful children. I've come a long way and have been faithful and committed to rebuilding our relationship. I go out of town for work from time to time, as does she. I just found out over the last 2 years she's been having an affair with her boss. Huh. Okay, this seems like a kind of like tit for tat sort of cheating situation. Like, are we sure we're not poly?
Vitacost.com is celebrating 30 years as your trusted source for natural, organic, and eco-friendly products with huge...
The circle of tit for tat has already been closed. The tit has already been tatted. Every happy hour event after work, every time she spent doing overtime, every trip to San Diego or Valentine's Day in Portland, he was there keeping her warm in a hotel room. Yeah, and 2 years is a long time. That is a full-blown relationship. Here's how I found out. She went for drinks after work and I asked, what time do you plan on being home? She tells me 9 p.m. 9 p.m. comes around and she's nowhere in sight. I call her and nothing. I get a text with a picture of her girl coworker and it's informing me she just grabbed a few more drinks before heading out. I found it weird that she could text me but can't have a call. Yeah, no. It's because she was with someone that she shouldn't have been. I zoom into the picture, into a napkin that was on the table and see where she's at. I drive 45 minutes from home to look for her and there she is, at the bar with her boss, with his arms around her. I walk up and they were both shocked to see me.
Ariana, what are you doing here?
She was quick to say,
okay, bye.
I'm like, bye, but I just got here. Did I interrupt something?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Brett.
She proceeds to tell me she's closed up her tab and she's leaving. I stay with her boss. The boss is drunk at this point and he's talking to me about his wife. Ooh, okay. He tells me that she doesn't pay attention to him and how they do whatever they want. This is the first time I meet this guy and he's getting personal. Yeah, because he's trying to justify what he's doing. He asked me if I've ever caught my wife cheating.
I think you just did.
And I proceeded to tell him that I haven't. But if I do, it wouldn't be a pretty sight. He orders another drink and I see my wife calling him on his phone multiple times. I found that very odd. In the middle of his drink, he gets up and leaves to what I thought was the bathroom, but he actually leaves the bar. I take off home and I have tons of questions for my wife. Her response was,
I'm sorry, I should have told you he was with us as well.
I've never been the jealous type and a friend told me to check my records. Oh my God. There is the garbage truck outside. A garbage truck coming to take out the trash. My heart dropped when I found out she's been talking to him Monday to Friday after work for 15 to 30 minutes at a time. I confronted her with all the phone bills extending to 2 years ago, and she informed me that after work, she has end of day reporting to do, and he needs those numbers to report to his boss. It was such a good lie. That is a good lie. Keep in mind, she's not on salary and clocks in and out. So from an HR point of view, reporting numbers after clocking out would be considered illegal. I knew both of their conversations, but how? I decided decide to record their conversation. I'm not gonna mention how I did it.
Hi, baby.
But once I heard what was said, my heart broke into a million pieces. She had conversations with her own cousin talking about how much he brings excitement to her life. And it's not only the spicy time, but how funny and goofy he is. She talked about how dumb I was to believe the end of day calls were real. I don't know if that's dumb. I think that's a very good lie. My wife said how they would have to lay low for a while and
where there's a will, there's a way.
And then there's the conversation between the two of them where they talked about how much they loved one another and how they make each other's feel. Straight caught. The audacity of this woman to like demand that you stay with her while also then cheating. This is real toxic, dude. I knew I was furious but didn't know what to do. You could have gone off and had a happy life with your affair partner, but she made you stay. I knew I was furious, but I didn't know what to do. Do I go to their HR? My wife just got a promotion. Should I tell them it's because she's having spicy time with her boss? I did the only thing I could think of. I contacted his wife. I did a ton of research with some help, of course, from a good buddy that loves drama. Contacted his wife on LinkedIn and waited for her call. She did, and I told her everything I knew. Yeah, I'm interested to know if she, because he said,
oh, like she lets me do whatever I want.
Does she know that? We put dates together and they've been having a blast for years now while we were both being played for fools. We did a 4-way call, but they denied it even after the recordings. They both finally came clean. Now I have to ask myself, do I stay for the kids or leave her because my debts for my wrongdoings have been paid? She's begging for me back, but I've moved out and picked up the kids to take them to school every morning. She still works under him and swears it won't happen again. Yeah, but she's already said that. And then not only did it happen again, but it was like 2 years of betrayal. This is not just like a one-time slip up. This is like multiple times. And not only did she slip up, she prevented you from moving on and having a life with someone else while at the same time having her cake and eating it too. So she still works under him, swears it won't happen again, but how can I trust that after 2 years of loving another man? She let him in her heart and pants. Is this my chance to leave her and start a fresh new life, or do I stick around to make sure my kids grow up with an undivided family?
One of them does.
Is there hope for this toxic, unhealthy marriage? No. Should I get the district manager fired for his wrongdoings in all of this? Yes. What should I do next? I know 2 wrongs don't make a right. I'm here for advice if anyone has successfully kept their family together for the sake of their children.
Just leave. Leave. Leave.
I mean, listen, I don't necessarily have any experience with that. I do know that staying with her, like, she's already proved to you that she can't keep her promises. Like you said, 2 wrongs don't make a right. I find it interesting that, like, it's clear from her conversations with her boss that she's either planning on leaving or she makes him think, she makes her boss think that she's planning on leaving. And yet now when confronted with the choice, now all of a sudden she doesn't want to leave. You've already given a second chance. Fool me once.
Shame on you.
Fool me twice.
Why? What the heck? That's so mean.
And like, yes, your kids are gonna grow up kind of in a broken home. At the same time, you also wanna have like a good model for love. You wanna show them what love really looks like. And I don't think that you'll be able to do that if you stay. Yeah, she also like baby trapped him. You both did wrong, okay? I feel like you really need a fresh start with someone and end this kind of circle of toxicity and like cheating on each other and like lying and like, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think you're ever gonna trust her again. I don't think that's a healthy marriage at all. Here's the thing. First of all, you have a very toxic relationship with this woman. This is a bad situation to raise your kids up in. I agree. No matter what happens, the kids will feel this. Yeah, they'll be able to tell.
Why are mommy and daddy fighting all the time? Why are mommy and daddy like not touchy-feely? They never kiss. Like,
I would have a problem kissing someone that I don't trust. They will absorb it and they will think that's how relationships are supposed to be and will be doomed to have terrible relationships in the future. If you want to do the right thing, even though you screwed up before, she screwed up before you. So you had been on an even playing field even after each of you cheating. But now she's gone on and had another 2 years with this guy. What you need to do is get a lawyer and get her served at work and make sure you retain all your relationship information of her and him. Present that to the lawyer. You need to go gray rock. For those of you who don't know what gray rocking is, it's when you're dealing with like you don't react, you know, you're just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yep. Yellow rocking's a little different. Yellow rocking's kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah. You need to gray rock and 180 on her, and she should move out while you stay with the kids. OP responds, love your inputs. Sometimes you get so used to a person that you can't really picture yourself without them. She was with him a day before my birthday. Day of my birthday, we took the family to Disneyland. Found out the next day about all of this. It just sucks. I understand, and believe me, like, this hits really close to home in terms of, like, people that I know that are in relationships that are, you just get so comfortable. Your lives are so intertwined, and yeah, your life's gonna blow up. Life as you know it is going to change. Maybe it could change for the better. That's my advice, and it seems like most people in the comments agree. This next one is from the Charlotte Joubert YouTube subreddit. Would I be the a-hole if I stopped babysitting my husband's female friends' kids? Friends is in quotations. I will put some context before I try explaining the situation I'm having an issue with. My husband and I have been together for 17 years, married for 14 years, and we have 2 kids. About 4 years into our marriage, I found out my husband had cheated on me. I debated for months if we could work through it or end our marriage. We ended up trying to fix things. My husband quit drinking and we started therapy. I thought we were doing good, but he has this bad habit of trying to come to other women's rescue. Interesting. Our therapist told him to stop, that married men shouldn't have female friends, and that if he wants friends, find other males. I think it's okay for men to have female friends, but like going over and above like that,
coming to the rescue,
that's something that their partner should be doing, not someone else's husband. My husband said that he understood. It's been a few years since all this happened and things were going well, so now to the reason I'm posting. My husband had come to me a couple weeks ago and was talking about a woman at work. He told me that her and her boyfriend broke up, that he was threatening to call CPS on her if she leaves her kids, 5 and 9 years old, home alone while she goes to work. My husband and her work 3rd shift. Needless to say, then he told me, I told you you could watch them since you are here and you will be sleeping anyways. Then he stated, but that's only if she has to. I said, we'll see. Last week, Sunday night rolled around and her kids showed up to our house, and I was told that the school had called CPS on her and she guesses she can't leave her kids home alone all night. I've been watching them all week, which has been easy enough. They're good kids. Okay. Now, what is upsetting me started on the Friday before she showed up. I was relaxing on the couch, watching something on my phone, and he stood in front of me and flung his hand while saying,
must be nice to be so lazy.
He spent the weekend making digs at me. Ooh, no. This is him trying to justify why he's cheating. Out loud to you. How do people justify cheating? They look at their partners and they think,
oh, she's let herself go. Oh, she's so lazy. Oh, she never does anything.
They start comparing their affair partners with their actual partner.
In my head, you know, she's ruined the marriage just as much as I have.
You know? To be honest, it's not new behavior, so I usually just laugh at him, then ignore him. I know I'm not lazy. I work, I clean, I take care of the house, and I run the kids all over for their school activities. Okay, so this was before you took care of some other woman's kids? All of my work vacation is used down to the last hour on my kids' activities. I don't want to miss any of their games. He does get to me. I have to list all the stuff I do so I can remind myself that he's wrong. Ooh.
Hey, that's not good.
That sounds like little manipulation there. He's definitely like changing your perception of who you are and making you feel bad about yourself. It doesn't always work. There are times I need my sister to talk to me about it. Then on Monday night, he was telling me a story about work and how him and the guys talked about who you would do if you had to, and they asked each other for both genders. I asked what his answers were, and he told me where I had to pick someone my age, so he told me he picked her. I was like, that's messed up and weird, but I was like, whatever. He said that to you? How the f did that come up in conversation? Who just like has a conversation with their wife where they tell them that they would want to sleep with someone that they know that's not their wife?
That's weird. That's weird.
Second incident was our daughter snuck a kitten in the house. I told her she had to get her dad's permission. He hates cats. He's a dog person. I figured it was going to be a bit of a fight, but he just let her keep it and told her she's in charge of taking care of it. That weirded me out. He complains about the cats nearly every day, but we took the win. Interesting. Trying to see what you see here. If it's like abnormal behavior, maybe he's trying to like get in good with his kids. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the cat thing's about, but it's an interesting change of behavior. What really sent me over the edge was what happened Thursday morning. I got up and got the 4 kids ready for school while also getting ready for work. I hadn't had much of a chance to talk with my husband that week due to kids' sports, his work meeting, and working different shifts. So when he got home a bit earlier than normal, I was like, yes, we get to talk a little. We talked about our kids' after school activities. Then his coworker walked in and her kids yelled, "Mom's home." It was cute and funny until I noticed my husband decided to play along with a big grin. I was not very happy with him talking about another woman like that. So what did your husband do? He kind of played along with the fact that he's their dad? Is that what happened? I was not very happy with him talking about another woman like that. After that, he completely ignored me and started talking to her, and they started talking about how they were going somewhere next week after the kids go to school. He playing in your face, girl. I asked him twice, what's up? And he just ignored me and kept talking with her. I stood there for maybe 2 minutes like a ghost. I left for work. He normally says, "Love you, have a good day," but this time he just said bye. He didn't want to say it in front of her. I didn't know what to do, so I called my sister and she told me this was messed up and he shouldn't be white knighting another woman. Yeah. Even the being a shoulder to cry on thing is a bit weird. You know what I mean? It is not the responsibility of someone else's husband to take care of your kids and come to your rescue. And I understand that she's in a position, but it's not his responsibility or your responsibility for that matter. I haven't said anything to him yet, but I keep going back and forth. I'm not sure if I'm reading into it too much because of our past issues or if there are some vibes that I'm picking up on. I don't know if I should listen to my gut or not. I think I'm too much. I'm tired, haha.
You listen to your gut, okay?
I mean, you don't have outright proof that he's cheating, but you really need to set some boundaries here. You already did this woman a solid by babysitting her kids for a week. I think that you need to put your foot down. Here's the conversation you can have. Listen, I understand that your friend is in a bind and I sympathize, but I'm uncomfortable with looking after her children and with you coming to her rescue. I would appreciate it if you didn't burden me with this. People in the comments are like, yeah, he's cheating. We don't have proof of that. I also think that, but until you actually have proof, I just find it really weird that he's so willing to come to her rescue, you know? Why is it up to your husband to save her? I don't get it. My gut feeling and opinion is that he's cheating or he's going to. He seems to be putting her before you in many ways, that part. His comments are not helping either. Stop watching her kids. It's not yours or his responsibility to do so. And you're watching her kids while he's having an affair with her. End it. No more babysitting. She can figure out her own childcare. She's using this opportunity to get closer to your husband and he is allowing it. He is enjoying that the coworker is owing him a favor. He's about to cash it. The comment about having to pick her. Basic grooming behavior. He is a... Get a lawyer and divorce that piece of... I see what you guys are saying. I just feel like he's getting too comfortable toying with you and seeing what you'll be okay with and really pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable in a healthy marriage, and he's just playing in your face like that. I think it's a sign that he's doing much worse behind closed doors, or he's planning to. They always kind of test the waters, right?
They
Slowly
tell on
start to
themselves.
introduce new behavior, see what you'll put up with. And it's so common, honestly. A lot of people do this. Sometimes it's more sometimes it's a little innocent, but it's you really have to nip it in the bud. The minute that I hear something that's sort of testing to see would she be okay with this? It's no, I'm not okay with it. But that had to be learned, right? The people pleaser in me is I guess I could let this slide, but I've been around the block. I know it when people test the waters. I don't allow that. Ma'am, you are nannying his girlfriend's children for free, I might add. Oh, not for free. Yes, you are doing that, but no. Nope, screw that. Even if he isn't cheating, he's being insanely disrespectful to you. Do you want your kids to think having to keep track of their activities to prove themselves to their spouses is healthy and normal? Because it's not. Yeah, the fact that you're keeping tabs and lists and he's making you question your reality. And the fact that he told you he would sleep with her if given the chance is just another dig at you to keep you down. Yeah, the audacity to say that to your face. Wow. He shouldn't have said it to his coworkers and especially shouldn't have rubbed it in your face. Let's look at the facts. 1, he constantly makes you doubt yourself and your worth. 2, he doesn't respect you in the home or in front of his coworkers. 3, he's cozying up to a very vulnerable woman and making her rely on him. 4, oh yeah, he's already effing cheated. Yeah, that's a good point. So maybe even at this point, it's not even worth a conversation. Maybe it really is at this point, just take it for what it is. He's disrespecting you in your own home and you're allowing it. Okay, so there is an update. OP updated in the comments. I read through most of the comments. I appreciate everyone who gave their opinion. I decided to talk to my husband and I stayed stern, mom voice, and to the point. I started with, I don't want to watch her kids anymore. She can switch shifts and have her ex pay for childcare per their court order. I swear, the look on his face, he immediately apologized. He had no clue that her ex and her had the court order. He said, no, you don't have to watch her kids. She can definitely figure it out for herself. He also informed me she did put a transfer in for a different shift. Then I told him how he ignored me Thursday and how it made me feel very upset. Oh, I'm so proud of you. I told him it made me feel like the past was repeating. He apologized and said he never meant to make me feel that way and he didn't hear me when I tried talking. Because he was more worried about what this other woman was saying? Like, I proceeded to then tell him I don't think it's appropriate for him to talk about coworkers in a locker room way at work and how that is disrespectful to me, his partner, and the people they are talking about. He then informed me he wasn't the one who started it. Another coworker was the one going around asking people.
Okay, and?
You don't have to answer, though. You want to know one thing that I love about my little brother so much? Like, literally just a side note. Like, me and my brother fight a lot, but I remember very distinctly we were on a cruise and we had made some friends on the cruise and people were going around saying like,
who would you like to switch siblings with if you could?
Everybody went around and said,
oh, you know, like, you seem really cool. I'd like to have you as a sister or whatever.
He said, I don't want to switch. I like my sister. It's as simple as that. Honestly, I have remembered that. We must have been, I think he was maybe 10 at the time and I was like 15. That was literally one of the nicest things that he's ever said. He was so respectful in that moment. He didn't care about appeasing or playing some sort of game with these random people or whatever, or his friends that he had made. He didn't want to do that. You don't have to answer the question. Oh, someone else started. Give me a break, dude. I told him he didn't have to participate. He then told me how the peer pressure got to him. I stood my ground on this one though. I told him he shouldn't be doing that. I don't know if on this one we will see eye to eye. He just said he would no way be interested in her that way. Lastly, I told him I need him to stop solving other women's problems and that if he wants to solve a woman's problems, he can solve mine. That's on period. We laughed and he apologized again and said he never meant to hurt me while he was just trying to help a coworker out. He said he was glad I finally talked to him and told me I needed to tell him when I have feelings about things. I feel silly.
You guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.
I should have just talked to him to begin with. He promised to spend more time with me. Oh, and finally the plans I heard was about him taking her and her chickens to another coworker who butchers chickens.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
He said he will just tell her where to drop them off and have her do it solo. I feel so silly. It was literally a bunch of misunderstandings that I strung together. I think I'm going to reach out to a therapist to work on some of my insecurities and past issues.
Oh, that's not very nice.
I feel maybe I need to work on me and fix the lens in which I see my husband's actions. I did learn from this that I rely too heavily on him and I overread things. As for his comments toward me, we will be working on it. Okay. I guess he was saying them as jokes, but they didn't feel like jokes. We will work on talking nicer to each other. If anything else does happen, I will let you know, but I have hope that this is the end of the situation. Okay. I'm happy to hear that you guys talked. I don't like that you're talking about yourself and your insecurities, okay? It's not your fault that he's treating you with disrespect in multiple ways, okay? That doesn't make you insecure. Did he tell you that those are your insecurities, or did you come to that conclusion on your own? Because kind of sounds like he's saying, putting ideas in your head about you being insecure. I think this is a good start, but I don't think this is the end of the issue. I don't think that you should completely forget about what he's done. People in the comments are just saying okay, so he has an excuse for everything. He's making it your fault by saying that you're insecure. Don't go to a therapist and say that, oh, I'm insecure. Go to a therapist and find out why this person actually said it. Talk about why you devalue yourself so much that you allow him to do it to you too. I don't feel like this situation is over. I think that you shouldn't forget about any of this. Keep it in your back pocket and keep your wits about you, because there are some red flags here that I don't like. So would you be the a-hole if you stopped babysitting your husband's friends' female kids? No, you wouldn't, but you are being kind of an a-hole to yourself. Subscribe!
Morning, Pete. Coffee's on and you're...
I am subscribed.
5 years ago,
wait.
this popular influencer became TikTok's most hated.
Who? Wait, I don't know who that is. Wait. I don't watch TikTok.
And their career began. 5 years ago, this popular influencer became TikTok's most hated, and their career began to crumble.
In my past, I said disgusting things to people.
Are black people just tokens for you to use when you're ready to play?
She's built a career stealing other people's content.
And when the criticism became too much,
Can you please leave me the f alone? I have a diagnosed neurological disorder that makes me forget things.
fast forward to 2025. She's attempting the impossible, a comeback.
Just want to make a quick PSA because I feel like a lot of people forget this and so they let their guard down and it might actually happen to them. Only JS is still on this app.
But this time, she may have officially ruined her career for good. Caught in 4K, call out yourself, we know what you did. Because now, someone's filed a restraining order against her. She stalks my every move, and claims they feel unsafe because only JS has access to a handgun. Let's delve into the never-ending downfall of only JS. We first covered JS back in this video, and since then, there's been some startling developments.
Wait, did we?
But first, allow
wait,
us to hit
wait,
you
wait,
with
wait. In what video? Wait. Who? I need to find the other video first. Wait. What was the other video?
Let's delve into the never-ending downfall of only JS. We first covered JS back in this video, and since then...
How only JS lost... Okay, I'm gonna go look for that video, because I have no idea who this is. Dun. Who is that? There we go. I didn't watch it, that's why.
And you're gonna throw a... I am so deeply sorry for all the pain that I've caused.
Over the past 3 years, one creator has been called out by many other influencers. Only JS, a young and upcoming creator that has gotten into so much trouble so early on. Voice memos were leaked offering an explanation for their disturbing actions.
I just said dumb in 2016. I don't know, I was a toxic piece.
But to everyone else, this just seemed like a sorry excuse. 700,000 people decided they were no longer fans. Controversy after controversy, the backlash seemed never ending.
You've been horrible to them, so just stop acting like this great person.
Going on to offend 2 communities and putting down fellow influencers.
When is it going to be enough to say only JS is not a good creator?
Slowly, JS began to crack.
And you're gonna throw a fit because I didn't make you my priority?
A petition to remove JS from social media has begun, and it's almost reached its goal. What did only JS do to garner so much backlash? They have been scrambling to offer explanations and save their career. Their dark past involving an abusive childhood may shock you. I moved away from my abuse. I'm the third child of 11 kids. It may not justify their behavior, but it could offer insight into why they keep finding themselves in trouble. Let's unravel the story of Only JS. Before we get into the story, we'd like to thank our sponsor for today's video, Extra. Thinking about the future milestones like buying a house and car can be pretty frustrating when your credit score is low, and for many, non-existent. Today, there are too many Americans who can't get a credit card, and they're in the winter of 2021, Only JS was exposed for disturbing behavior involving another creator. From this moment on, all eyes were on JS, and any troubling behavior would be quickly broadcasted. With never-ending backlash and criticisms, JS would never be the same again. Only JS, whose real name is Isabella Avila, is a popular TikToker from Las Vegas, Nevada, with over 17 million followers.
What is up, you guys? My name is Bella. You might know me as JS.
Their TikTok career began in February 2019, and they are best known for their life hack style videos.
If you want to have a higher chance of surviving a plane crash, what you need to do is sit in a middle seat towards the back of the plane. This spot on your forehead is known as your third eye. Pressing here for like 60 seconds can have some crazy benefits for your body.
They also have 3 million subscribers on YouTube, where they occasionally offer longer form content. JS has also found success on Netflix with their own podcast called I Know It All. JS's content was educational and easy to understand. Their content was on an upward trajectory. Little did we know, things were happening behind the scenes that gave us a peek into JS's character. JS was having issues with another creator, Acrello. Acrello is a popular TikToker from Lansing, Michigan, with over 7 million followers. He is best known for his comedy bits and life hack videos. 2 years ago, in November 2020, Acrello posted a cryptic video calling out JS. Me on my way to 2 million followers after being told by a huge TikToker my career would die in 6 months. It's been 7 months. This call out would lead to a back and forth argument accusing each other of lying.
Never planned on name dropping you, but you commented, so, I'm gonna respond here.
JS's main defense against Acrello's accusation was claiming they only said Acrello's career would die after he made a YouTube video lying about him. The YouTube video in question was 20 minutes of Acrello criticizing JS and making bold claims, such as committing SA. Acrello claimed JS got the timeline twisted.
Quit lying! Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
He showed proof that JS made the negative comment about Acrello's career on April 5th, 2020.
April 5th, y'all can look at the top.
Acrello then showed proof the YouTube video was posted 3 days after their conversation, on April 8th, 2022.
As you can see, the date is April 8th. All of that started because you told me my career would die. But I used it as motivation. That's the good part.
JS tried to provide context, claiming that at the beginning of 2020, Acrello questioned why Connor, a mutual friend, blocked him, and JS told Acrello it was because he was copying Connor's content. JS said the fight was between Connor and Acrello and asked to be kept out of the drama. However, JS said Acrello proceeded to make the 20-minute video and continued to speak about JS in many other videos too.
He wanted to drag me into it because I had a lot of followers. Clout chaser, He went through all my videos and nitpicked every little thing I've ever said. He told people that I was a offender and a drug addict. So excuse me if I don't like the kid.
Acrello denied JS's timeline and continued to stand by his original statement.
I didn't drop the video on you because you told me that he was stealing my content. I dropped the video on you because you told me my career would die.
Acrello also said JS had blocked him on their second TikTok account so they could continue to talk about him secretly. During their heated argument, Acrello shocked the public with another comment about JS.
Multiple verified creators have came out and said you've been horrible to them, so just stop acting like this great person.
JS continued to stand by their claim that Acrello's YouTube video was untruthful. Acrello explained why his YouTube video was not slander, considering the circumstances at the time.
I saw the video, it was posted out of context, there was no indication that it was a joke, and I said that was yes, kissing somebody without their consent is. That's not slandering your name. Any court would agree with me on that. You use Google. You should know this.
Then JS got extremely heated.
Thought that this drama was over in April, but since this kid doesn't remember how this ended up for him last time, we're gonna have to go through it again.
This time, JS showed up with DMs that exposed Acrello's behavior during his fallout with Connor. JS showed how Acrello went on a rant about how all TikTok content is unoriginal. JS tried to explain boundaries to Acrello.
I'd explained to him, like, no man, like, it's different when somebody you considered a friend copies your videos, and that's why he was mad. But I tried to stay out of this drama.
JS said this was the context behind their comment about Acrello's career, but did not show any proof to back this up.
And I did mention that if he didn't stop copying, he wasn't going to be anywhere in 6 months.
JS said they are mad because Acrello made a video about them instead of talking out the situation. Then Acrello made a comment we were all expecting. He said a lot of his ideas came from Reddit and had his own take on it. Acrello also said he credited Reddit for his ideas, but Connor never did.
All those screenshots are me defending myself, basically telling you that I wasn't copying. I don't have enough time to talk about this in a 60-second TikTok video, but they basically told me that if I apologized to them, that the videos would come down. They never did.
While the argument about original versus unoriginal content may seem petty because nobody owns publicly available educational information, things did take a turn for the worse when Acrello revealed JS's terrible reaction to the video. One of JS's fans asked others to comment on Acrello's Instagram page. Isabella will always be better than you, and made a personal comment saying he is an asshole, so just trust me. Acrello showed JS liked the tweet.
These were all the likes for the tweet. The girl has deleted it now. As you can see, it says only JS right here. She liked the tweet, basically giving everybody the gateway to go comment that.
As you may have noticed, Acrello's 20-minute video criticizing JS has been removed from YouTube. He revealed JS threatened to have YouTube take it down, so he removed it himself. With screenshots being thrown around and screenshots being withheld, it's still unclear what really happened between the two. But what is clear is the anger JS had over public criticism. And Acrello's comment about TikTok content being unoriginal seemed to foreshadow what would happen next. In July of 2020, JS accused content creator Jonathan Moss of copying their content.
I do not own information. I think it's okay for other creators to do fact videos. It literally does not bother me. I just think it's really weird when other big creators think it's okay to copy my video word for word and act like you didn't.
The video in question showed Jonathan saying word for word what JS said.
Did you know that your birth month actually has a huge effect on who you are as a person and the things that could possibly happen to you?
Yo, did you know that your birth month actually has a huge effect on you and the things that can happen to you in your life?
People born in March are way more likely to have asthma, and I can actually speak to this one because my little sister, the only one born in March, has asthma.
People born in March are actually more likely to have asthma, and I can speak to that because my cousin, the only person born in March, has asthma.
The situation escalated quickly, with Jonathan receiving hate and threats to end his life. JS asked people to stop sending hate and threats to Jonathan, but urged him to do the right thing.
I don't want Jonathan to get hate, so stop with the death threats that he's saying he's getting, but he knows exactly what he's doing. And I think as bigger creators, we should be better than that, and I think he should just own up to it.
Jonathan quickly clapped back with an answer we all saw coming.
I found the content off Google. What does your birth month say about you? And I found it, and I was like, oh snap, this would be cool.
And to back up his claim, Jonathan showed a Business Insider article that he claimed he read verbatim. He said his cousin did indeed have asthma, and that was why he chose to do his video in the month of March. Some felt JS deserved the credit. Just make a vid admitting you copied her and apologize, bro. But you literally said everything word for word of her video. Doesn't matter if you use the same site, you said everything word for word. But others sided with Jonathan. I can't believe she said use your own sources when she literally uses Google like hundreds of other creators. Why is she so mad about this? It's not like she owns that type of video. And this negativity really stuck with JS. JS tried to redeem themselves in a post they wrote on the Only JS subreddit titled, I thought I was doing the right thing. JS said they used a number of sources to create their TikTok and they had planned to do all the months of the year, but Jonathan had uploaded it before then. They said their friends had told them to leave the situation alone, but they were too annoyed and called Jonathan out anyway, leaving a comment about copying their content. JS said Jonathan deleted the comment, so JS left another comment. Jonathan then blocked JS. JS shared their honest feelings. I still don't know what to do. I don't think I've done anything wrong. Maybe you do, but honestly, I don't see it. I still think he should be held accountable. I don't understand how I can show proof of him copying me, and I still end up looking like the bad guy to most people. For the remainder of 2020, JS was drama-free and continued to thrive on TikTok. But when the new year came around, JS was in for the shock of a lifetime. In early February 2021, old DMs from JS were leaked, showing a fight between JS and an unnamed creator. JS made racially charged comments and wished illness on the creator's parents. This inappropriate behavior led to public callouts on TikTok.
everybody here that I love you no matter your sex, your gender, your sexuality, your faith, or your race.
Goofier, guess that didn't age well, cause this you?
JS claimed the fight took place 2 or 3 years ago, but TikToker Freak the Gemini 1, also known as Freak, was suspicious of the timeline.
This is why I don't trust people with savior complexes, bro. I feel like it's always a second agenda behind what you do. If you say it's 2 to 3 years old, you were 20 years old. You're a role model to 10 million people, bro. I hope things get better, and I hope you educate.
Jonathan Moss also spoke up, sharing DMs of JS denying the allegations by implying the DMs were photoshopped and later having a 180 moment when realizing the DMs were real.
She denied it, straight up lied. When the proof was shown to her, she immediately backtracked and tried to apologize for something she tried to cover up.
A large brand deal was also at risk during this moment. Arlen Parsa, a documentary filmmaker, called out Netflix for collaborating with JS. Jonathan encouraged others to inform Netflix about the situation since Netflix had been an ally for BLM.
If they still support this all-out racist, why should we support them? Netflix has a whole Black Lives Matter page. But do Black lives really matter to Netflix? Or was it just a publicity stunt?
TikToker and rap artist Crystal Crave also put JS on blast for inconsistent behavior.
This one is for the white people telling me she was only 16. It was 5 years ago. Her brain was underdeveloped. People change, coming up with every excuse in the book. Prior to me uploading the video, she was not following me. After my video hit the For You page, I noticed she was. This tells me she saw what I had to say. She said she was going to apologize, which she has yet to do so. What you guys need to understand is her racism did not start when she typed that message, and it did not end after she hit send. When this 9-year-old got pepper sprayed, I didn't hear any of those bullshit excuses. I am giving her 6 hours to publicly apologize.
JS once again went to Reddit to explain themselves. In 2016, I got into an argument with someone. I don't remember the argument because he deleted his messages, but it was toxic and we were saying fuck shit to each other. I said the N-word, which is awful. I feel awful. There's no excuse for it. Couple years later, he sent me screenshots of it and I apologized. He accepted it and I thought we moved on until he decided to leak it. I waited 3 days to make an apology due to my management, and my apology wasn't the best and I look like in it because I haven't slept in days. I am genuinely sorry and I want to make this better, but for now, I need a break from social media. And with the immense amount of criticism, JS finally apologized on February 12th, 2021.
In my past, I said disgusting things to people, and I am so ashamed of myself for using racist rhetoric and derogatory language to hurt others, because I knew what that word meant and I understood the power behind it, but I said it anyway because it was the meanest thing that I could think of, and I am so sorry to everyone, but especially to those in the Black community, because only you guys can forgive me for this.
They claimed they didn't believe the screenshots were real at first.
I didn't even think that they were real because I forgot how hateful and how angry of a person I used to be, and it hurts my soul knowing that I said those things. But the screenshots and the things I've said in my past are not a reflection of who I am today.
JS thanked the people who educated them and called the experience a reality check. To make things right, JS promised to share their platform with Black creators.
So I want to take this time to take a step back and share my platform with some amazing Black creators who are going to tell their story to try and educate others on the trauma that happens when we use this kind of language.
JS was later seen liking positive reactions to their apology. A number of creators reacted negatively to JS's apology.
I don't know what Miss Little Thing thought she was doing, but she was like, like she was crying when we all know she wasn't. Admitting to the fact that when she said she thought that was the best jab to make at a person, she felt like loving a Black person was so disgusting that that was the best jab to make at somebody. Like,
a slur is a slur, but to insult someone for being in a relationship with a Black person by calling them it does not get any worse than that. It is so hateful and it is so violent. Bro, a forced, fake, watered down apology will not cut that. Who child for you to be as intelligent as you are with your little psychology facts? That is some dumb
One creator, Papa Gut, believed JS was being genuine, but acknowledged it wasn't his place to accept the apology.
I actually had a conversation, a private phone call conversation with JS about this situation. Seemed pretty sincere about how sorry she was. We had a conversation for about an hour, In private, I think she's sincere. In public, I think that her managerial team got far too involved in it.
But whether the apology appeared genuine or not, JS was exposed once more, digging a deeper hole. TikToker iSpeak1906, also known as Anthony Hyland, showed a comment JS left on his video which contradicted JS's statement that they thought the DMs were photoshopped.
But is this not you, right here in my comment section, saying that you apologize to the person that you said it to a year ago? So when they pop back up on TikTok, you willfully acted oblivious and you knew that you said that nonsense.
The situation became worse than we could have imagined when voice memos were exposed. TikToker Wartooth95, also known as Rafael Hernandez, seemed to ask JS to make a video addressing the situation in more depth. Instead, JS explained their situation through a voice memo and the effort they were making to educate themselves now.
Well, for one, I left my conservative town and went to college, and I moved to LA, and I got out of the little white bubble, and my school, everybody just said that word. There were people in the parking lot that had Confederate flags on their trucks, and the school didn't care. We only had 2 black kids. I did not grow up in a diverse environment, and then once I left that environment, it opened me up to a lot more experiences that changed my worldview completely. I've read so many books on racism. I'm reading How to Be Anti-Racist right now. I've read Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, and I'm going to be reading The New Jim Crow.
But JS's honesty seemed to get them in more trouble when they blamed their behavior on a video game.
I am educating myself on this. I'm not a racist. I just said dumb shit in 2016 because I played too much Call of Duty, man. I don't know. I was a toxic piece of shit. And I'm not only apologizing because I got caught. I apologized last year to this dude. He showed the screenshots.
And as time went on, everyone was waiting for JS to fulfill their pledge to share their platform with Black creators. This never happened, and it seemed like a book took their place.
So I thought it'd be cool to do book recommendations for you guys. And the first book that I decided to pick up was How to Be Anti-Racist by Dr. Ibram Kendi. And this will push readers that think that they're not racist into being something better.
People were not impressed. By the end of February, JS lost a total of 700,000 TikTok followers. During this whole controversy, there was one creator JS would absolutely lose it over, Aunt Karen. Aunt Karen is a TikToker that uses her platform to raise awareness about racism and has over 1.5 million followers. Aunt Karen was one of the Black creators JS invited to speak on their platform, but a whole month went by and JS still wasn't cooperating.
Talks with 2 other people right now, trying to get a big Zoom call with some people. If you want to be a part of it, that's cool. If not, I also get it. I understand that I haven't followed through on my promise like a lot of people expected me to, and it's something that I'm still working on it.
So, in the month of April, Aunt Karen made multiple videos calling out JS for ghosting her.
Are Black people just tokens for you to use when you're ready to play? Because I can tell you one thing. If you were really truly sorry about what you said, you would not have lied and said you were going to do something you clearly aren't trying to do.
Aunt Karen was frustrated with JS's inability to follow through with their actions.
Why not just be racist? Just say you're racist.
She called out those who might try to make excuses for JS.
Now, your fans might get on here and say, oh, she just moved to a new apartment. Stop the cap. Because she may have moved, but she's been streaming. You look at your phone. You look at your TikTok. She streams on her TikTok. She is playing those games. She's on Twitch, whatever. So please don't tell me that I'm in the wrong by posting this. The fact that you were able to say what you said and still have followers, it's sad, and it's honestly just shows that Black creators never get the recognition that they deserve.
JS was quick to approach Aunt Karen and explain why the collab didn't happen.
So I am sorry for basically ghosting you. I didn't mean to do that. I just have a very chaotic schedule and ADHD on top of that, so I genuinely just forgot. It wasn't me trying to ignore you.
But instead of working things out for the collab, JS cut contact.
You could have just hit me up again, but instead you decided to go public and try to add public pressure onto me, and that's not cool, so I don't want to collaborate.
Aunt Karen was disappointed and showed she already made an effort on her end.
This is what Black girls have to go through. Instead of just apologizing, you're going to put it on the Black girl. You're going to put it on me. Only JS, if you watch my last video, That receipt, that email, was dated for 3/24. In your voicemail, you said I should have emailed you again. Baby, what's this? This you? April 4th, I emailed you. How many times do you expect me to message you waiting on you to continuously ghost me? Wow.
JS apologized on Aunt Karen's video, but Aunt Karen wasn't having it.
Only JS, stop gaslighting black people. Stop gaslighting people of color. If you really wanted to know how to be anti-racist, stop gaslighting people of color and treating them like they are the issue. At this point, any person of color, any ally to people of color, should not be following Only JS.
Aunt Karen also posted herself shaking her head in reaction to JS's claim they got their vocabulary from playing Call of Duty too often. JS was enraged by the amount of videos Aunt Karen made about them, and what they said next would be a moment viewers would never forget. On April 9th, 2021, JS shared an explosive rant directed at Aunt Karen.
Today's episode of What Are People Mad at Me For Now? Not checking my emails in a timely manner. I wish I was joking. I forgot to respond to an email from this creator that wanted to collab with me, and instead of just like hitting me up again, they made 7 videos about it! Can you please leave me the f*** alone? I have a diagnosed neurological disorder that makes me forget things and procrastinate due to time blindness. I forget to eat for days. I procrastinate sleep for more days. I barely text my family back, and I just had to move apartments because my address got leaked, and you're gonna throw a fit because I didn't make you my priority? Ah! Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go get drunk as in Las Vegas to celebrate my 22nd birthday, and y'all can keep crying for my attention.
Aunt Karen was baffled as she already addressed following up when JS was unresponsive.
It's the lies for me. Oh my, y'all. Aunt Karen always keeps her receipts. It's the lies. What are these dates? Hit you up again, you say? What is these dates? We lying. Wow.
Other creators had a lot to say. TikToker Penguin Boo, also known as Ash, called out JS for blaming everything on their ADHD.
As someone with ADHD, you do not get to blame every single ounce of your incompetence and your lack of consistency on ADHD. I find it funny because on 228, you said that no one wanted to collab with you. But when a black creator actually wants to collab with you, you just ghost her.
Ash also exposed JS for saying they will post BLM links in their bio, but never did that. Many other TikTokers continued to criticize JS for their defensive behavior.
You're acting like a crazy angry black woman is attacking you for having a disability. Racism is not a symptom of ADHD, and it's not an excuse. You owe Aunt Karen a big apology.
Surprisingly, on April 14th, 2021, JS would speak about the positivity on their platform, which Aunt Karen quickly shut down.
With my platform, I've done way more positive than negative that a lot of you guys really don't want to give me credit for.
Are you kidding me? Have you learned nothing the last few days? It's so funny how so many people have reached out to me saying that you want to apologize, and yet you pull stuff like this. Positive? You've done more positive? How could you sit there and speak so highly of yourself knowing that you isolated black voices, knowing that you purposely didn't speak to me, knowing that you purposely avoided black people because you only wanted to put the black voices that you felt were positive for you?
Aunt Karen also called JS out for being calculating.
Okay, some of you guys are missing the big picture here. Did you notice how Only JS posted
Done.
about me and our issue only on their alt account? It's because they didn't want their main following to know they didn't hold their promise.
It wasn't long before JS's professional support came crumbling down. JS soon lost all of their sponsors, including their partnerships with Netflix, Hi Emil, and Casetify. JS continued posting TikTok videos as if everything was normal, but around 4 months after the initial apology video, JS found themselves in controversy once again, this time offending another community. On May 23rd, 2021, JS made a
that
video
wasn't me.
offering
That was
illegal
allergies.
If a service
I
dog
didn't
ever
do
approaches
that.
you but they're alone,
That's
that means that
not
their owner's in
me.
trouble and they
I do
probably
not
can't move,
know
so you should follow him.
what
You'll
you are
get a free
talking
wallet.
about.
In the
All right,
caption,
we're done with
JS
Lego.
wrote, "For reasons, this is a joke." A lot of people didn't see the humor in the joke, while some people felt others were overreacting. Y'all are so sensitive. Bro, do people not get this as a joke? But some people were truly hurt by the joke.
When is it going to be enough to say only JS is not a good creator, should not be followed, and should not be listened to?
Dr. Inna Kanevsky, a psychology professor with 1.1 million TikTok followers, spoke about her daughter who uses a service dog.
My child is Faye Gay. They are a service dog user. Why? Because, in fact, there are occasions when Faye may be incapacitated and her dog will need to get help. And this is not a kind of joke you want to be putting out there. It's not funny to anybody who uses a service dog. It is not okay. And there is no apology. There is no responsibility. There is nothing.
Faye also made multiple videos about the situation, which eventually led JS to comment, "Read the caption, dummy." Faye responded, implying JS's joke wasn't truly a joke.
So the caption says, this is a joke for reasons, which definitely implies for legal reasons this is a joke.
Faye got heated when explaining the real danger service dog users face.
So I'm here as a disabled person with a service dog. Here she is, clearly labeled, calling you out for what you did, which is super harmful. It is a constant fear for me and my community, for that when I am incapacitated, someone will take advantage of me. It has happened to me. It has happened to other people. It is constantly in news stories. And you do this to your millions of followers. You put it in a tips video. And you think calling it a joke will excuse it?
They criticized JS for not doing proper research as a creator that makes educational content.
You could have talked to disabled people, you could have done your research like you say you do, and made an educational video on what to do if a service dog handler is down and their dog brings you to them. The video is still up, inciting and causing harm to disabled people. And you don't care, and you won't listen, and you're not even ashamed about it.
Faye also called out JS for their language and alleged reaction to the
speaking of
situation.
TikTok, I
The fact that
probably
they
should have
went out
turned
of
it
their
on.
way to call a disabled person they're already harming dummy, and then are mass reporting me? Another service dog user offered real advice.
First, obviously, follow the dog, find the owner, check if the owner is alive, check the dog for any patches or any paperwork that will sometimes be on the dog telling you what to do.
It's been nearly a year since JS posted the video, and it still has not been removed. A month after the illegal joke was made, JS continued to receive backlash. On June 11, 2021, TikToker Sean SVV, also known as Sean, revealed they were another black creator that JS was going to collaborate with, but JS didn't follow through.
I've never felt this used, emotionally drained, and manipulated in my life. Do you know how much empathy and patience and acceptance and tolerance it takes to privately speak with a creator that has had a problematic past and said they were going to address it privately and then publicly?
Sean explained they organized a lot of the behind-the-scenes preparation, setting up Zoom calls with other creators, setting goals for JS, and giving them academic material to study. Sean expressed their disappointment.
To most likely be the only black creator that was willing to build a bridge, meet someone halfway, and say, hey, I'm willing to help you with this. Here are the plans. Let's do this together. Only for them to either leave you on red or say, we'll get to it later or we'll do this some other time. To invest over 2 months of your own time into helping someone, trying to believe that they're not like this, trying to help them out. This creator burnt a bridge that I built 90% of, and I'm not going to hold back on the I let slide.
Then, Sean dropped a bombshell that would change the narrative of JS's apology forever. Sean revealed JS allegedly hired a ghostwriter to write their apology back in February so they wouldn't lose their brand deals.
The person that helped you write the apology is my friend, and you've wronged them over and over, like you have me.
On June 13th, 2021, TikToker I'm Just Xander, also known as Alexander, admitted to being the ghostwriter.
I then tried to help him to the best of my ability while still being extremely angry and frustrated. Helped with a good bit of the apology, especially the part about black creatives. When we were both talking about that part in the apology, I really did think that they would hold up their end of the bargain, you know?
Alexander said they were friends with JS before the controversy and noticed JS was in a rough spot and needed a black person to talk to. Alexander and Sean were some of the few black people who would still show JS kindness during that time. However, Alexander expressed their real feelings now that JS did not follow through with their plan.
I definitely do feel like I was like a little bit used.
It wasn't long before the public took matters into their own hands, and as usual, JS had to get involved. In June 2021, Vanellope Von Adams started a petition to remove JS from TikTok, listing all the controversies they have been in. JS appeared irritated by the petition and made multiple social media posts about the situation. So someone started a petition to get me off TikTok. I'm so scared. But for real though, this is funny. Good luck getting more than 13.5 million signatures, I guess.
The only way that TikTok would ever ban me, I'll ban myself. I don't give a
Despite their initial responses, JS claimed they were so confident nothing would come of the petition, they were willing to buy the petition more signatures so more people would see it. Vanellope, the creator of the petition, reacted to JS's attitude.
Oh, 35,000 people don't like me.
Oh, it's 37,000, get it right. Yeah, I'm just kidding, it's way more than that. Do you seem to forget that this petition was started less than a day ago? So that's not 35,000 people in total. That's 35,000 people so far. Do you want to know what I find very hilarious? And forgive me for not laughing, it's really early. But normally, JS, when you're caught in a scandal, and it's something you don't want to be involved in, or you're not worried about, you ignore it. The fact that you even acknowledge the petition at all might tell us a little bit more than what you think. And don't forget, people have paid real money to boost the petition to get more signatures.
And Karen also called out JS for their attitude.
You are creating your own downfall. You won't apologize and mean what you say because you don't truly care. And we are holding you accountable for that. The truth is, you are terrified. You won't even post any of this on your main account because that's how terrified you are. And if anyone else is watching this, please sign the petition and let's hold people like this accountable.
As of now, the petition has raised over 400,000 signatures, and as a result of the never-ending controversies, JS's follower growth slowed down 34.6% compared to their previous reports. The week the petition was launched, their TikTok subscriber growth dropped from 1.1 million weekly followers to 100,000 weekly followers. By fall of 2021, JS would get exposed once again, this time by a fellow creator who once defended them. On October 20th, 2021, Papa Gut revealed he believed JS is a bad person. 5 days prior, Papa Gut made a commentary video on JS's TikTok about how minimum wage in the United States hasn't increased despite the cost of living going up drastically. Papa Gut's reaction was,
But like, I understand only JS is trying to be nice here, but only JS doesn't understand things.
Papa Gut then explained the complexity behind increasing minimum wage and many factors to take into consideration. JS allegedly didn't take this well and wrote and deleted a YouTube comment, but Papa Gut still saw it.
Now, I know that she commented because if a large creator comments on a YouTube video, you'll get like a specified notification about it, which I got. And that's what this is, a screenshot of the notification, but it was deleted before I could even look at it. So it says, JS doesn't know things. Shut the fuck up, dude. If
Papa Gut confronted JS about the deleted comment and offered to have a discussion on minimum wage.
I didn't delete, which is verifiably false because this is gone. This comment doesn't exist. It's not there. It's not in the held for review section because I looked everywhere. She deleted it. This is something that she does a lot. She'll say things and then she'll delete them, and she'll gaslight the people who disagree with her, and she'll try to use her large audience to stir people away.
Papa Gut said he was willing to show the DMs because
frankly, I think JS is a bad person.
JS called Papa Gut out for talking down to them and clapped back by talking down to Papa Gut. Papa Gut apologized for saying JS doesn't know things, but called out JS for their attitude.
Anyway, I got annoyed because this is something that JS does all the time, is when somebody criticizes her, she will say, well, I'm a bigger content creator, so I must be better than you. It's one of the reasons why she's always in the forefront of drama, because she thinks she's literally better than anybody.
Papa Gut said he treated JS like a friend, but in hindsight, JS didn't do the same.
She really just treated me like a person to talk to and vent and get information on how to deal with her cancellations.
People were shocked to see how low JS had gone. No matter how big or small the conversation, JS seemed to be there. As recently as 2022, JS was still trying to clear their name. On January 15th, 2022, a post was made in r/teenagers talking about a YouTube short they saw that was sourced to JS. However, the original poster wrote, I don't usually watch them because they're not a very good person. JS was quick to swoop in and explain their situation, but added fuel to the fire by speaking poorly about Aunt Karen. I apologized in private and asked if she would like to continue to work together, but instead did replying, she went on an 6-month rage against me. Another Redditor asked why JS was problematic. When the poster gave 2 big reasons, JS tried to correct them, saying, that's not what happened. As the month went on, JS began to crack. On January 30th, 2022, JS posted to their subreddit with the headline, "I'm not sure what to post anymore." When given ideas or called out, JS would get defensive. In a comment thread with another Redditor, a moderator removed all the comments except for JS's. So, while we don't know what the Redditor said, we do have JS's response, which revealed a dark past no one was expecting. Other than being white, what's my privilege? I'm the child of 11 kids in a single income family, then ended up in foster care. I was the first in my family to ever go to college, community college. Yeah, I said the N-word. I feel awful over it and apologize all the time. What do you want? JS alleged they were mistreated by their parents. Unfortunately, the family that abused me and ultimately failed enough to put me in foster care clearly didn't teach me very good morals. It's all things I had to unlearn. JS also spoke about privilege and being an ally, but I've only had a platform for 2 years. I'm very newly privileged compared to the majority of my life. I sent those texts when I was 16. 6 years ago. I've changed a lot since then. I've moved away from my abusers, got my first job, went to college, got therapy, found a better group of friends, got medicated, and got deeply humbled by my past being made public to 25 million people. I might be privileged currently, but I'm not racist, and I'm using my platform to better educate people and be an ally. Again, what do you want?
Oh, I have the orb
the
syrup.
17 million followers they have is also a privilege. Despite the desperate tone in JS's responses, they eventually became defensive and called the Redditor privileged and jealous. And the final blow involved calling out the Redditor in a petty way. Edit, LMFAO, go through your own post history, bud. You admitted to saying the N-word in middle school. Don't try and come at me, you
Medium-sized butterflies.
A
Done.
hypocrite. And his face.
Yes!
Better hope
Golden
you never have
mushroom.
millions of people that care about you and what you do, or you'll be cancelled. The Redditor responded to JS's immaturity. It's insane to have a following that big and lose your mind on negative comments. And to have a following that big and post pictures of people's faces shows how little you've grown at all. Also, the video I watched said you were 20, not 16. Meanwhile, I was like, 12, LMAO, you are weird. And JS continues to respond to negative posts about themselves in hopes of clearing their name. In a recent 2022 interview on Creator Mindset, JS revealed, "I fear failure. I'm afraid that this slightly longer 15 minutes of fame will go away and I won't have any control over it." Whatever the case is, it appears JS is easily consumed by criticism. This need for validation and clearing negative opinions ended up doing the complete opposite, showing a defensive and reactive side. This is the story of Only JS, the TikToker who can't seem to stay out of controversy.
Okay, so that's who it is. We know now. Okay. Now we know who Only JS is.
There's got a car accident. Don't call
Only
the
JS.
free AI tool instead. That's how I walked
We're
away
watching
with
Spill, y'all.
$93,000 from what they called a minor crack.
Been some startling developments.
All right, now we're gonna start again. Now we have context. We love context. Yes.
5 years ago, this popular influencer became TikTok's most hated, and their career began to crumble.
In my past, I said disgusting things to people.
Are black people just tokens for you to use when you're ready to play?
She's built a career stealing other people's content.
And when the criticism became too much,
Can you please leave me the f alone? I have a diagnosed neurological disorder that makes me forget things.
fast forward to 2025. She's attempting the impossible, a comeback.
Just want to make a quick PSA because I feel like a lot of people forget this and so they let their guard down and it might actually happen to them. Only JS is still on this app.
But this time, she may have officially ruined her career for good. Caught in 4K, call out yourself, we know what you did. Because now,
Hey.
someone's filed a restraining order against
Medium
her. She stalks them every
butterflies
move and claims they feel unsafe
are
because
done.
only JS has access to a handgun. Let's delve into the never-ending downfall of Only JS. We first covered JS back in this video,
That's a
and since
medium.
then, there's been some startling developments.
Let's go
But first,
see.
allow us to hit you with a refresher on all things JS, and explain just what makes this once beloved creator so controversial. JS began her social media career back in 2019, and through her token life hack and fun fact videos.
If you want to have a higher chance of surviving a plane crash, what you need to do is sit in a middle seat towards the back of the plane. The majority of people who turn into serial killers were born in November, and I think that's what happens when you have to like live with the fact that you know
Alice
you
is
were
a
made
November
on
baby.
Valentine's Day. The spot on your forehead is known as your third eye, and just pressing here for like 60 seconds can have some crazy benefits for your body.
She built a virtual empire of millions. It was thanks to this massive audience that
larges are all that we
playlist
need
invites.
now.
It really helps me.
Large
feel confident that I
dragonflies,
can do
large
this long term.
frogs,
Streaming
large
nominations.
butterflies.
I didn't expect it. It kind of came out of nowhere. Very exciting stuff.
And even her own podcast with Netflix, Know It All.
Each episode, I'm going to help you become a know-it-all about something new.
It was also her audience that JS has to thank for her inevitable downfall. After all, with all eyes on the influencer, it wasn't long before the cracks started to show. It began in July 2020 when JS called out TikToker Jonathan Moss for stealing her video, almost verbatim.
I do not own information. I think it's okay for other creators to do fact videos. It really does not bother me. I just think it's really weird when other big creators think it's okay to copy my video word for word and act like you didn't.
But as incriminating as the comparisons between the videos appeared,
Did you know that your birth month actually has a huge effect on who you are as a person and the things that could possibly happen to you?
Yo, did you know that your birth month actually has a huge effect on you and the things that can happen to you in your life?
People born in March are way more likely to have asthma, and I can actually speak to this one because my little sister, the only one born in March, had asthma.
People born in March are actually more likely to have asthma, and I can speak to that because my cousin, the only person born in March, has asthma.
it turned out that neither of the creators came up with the idea. No, for that, they owed credit to Business Insider.
And I found the content off Google. What does your birth month say about you? And I found it, and I was like, oh, snap, this would be cool.
Rather than exposing this creator, JS's call-out ended up exposing herself as the internet soon realized she'd been stealing content since the beginning of her career.
I have absolute proof that God does not exist. This proof is absolute, but immaterial. You can't see it or measure it, but it exists.
We're talking word for word here.
Just trying to confirm, everybody's tired all the time, right? No matter how much sleep we get or caffeine we consume, but also we have a lot of trouble even just falling asleep, and we're constantly hungry, but also kind of always nauseous.
But it wasn't just deceit that paved the way to JS's downfall. See, in early February 2021, leaked DMs exposed JS using a racial slur. This led to not only a public apology from the influencer.
In my past, I said disgusting things to people.
The quickest lash application you'll ever experience. Look at how easy these are to apply. Lily Lashes self-adhesive half lashes have no measuring, no trimming, no...
I knew what that word meant, and I understood the power behind it, but I said it anyway because it was the meanest thing that I could think of, and I am so sorry to everyone, but especially to those in the Black community, because only you guys can forgive me for this.
But a commitment to do better.
I want to take this time to take a step back and share my platform with some amazing Black creators who are going to tell their story to try and educate others on the trauma that happens when we use this kind of language.
This, however, was a promise JS never fulfilled. And when she was called out by a TikToker she allegedly ghosted,
Are Black people just tokens for you to use when you're ready to play? Because I can tell you one thing. If you were really truly sorry about what you said, you would not have lied and said you were going to do something you clearly aren't trying to do.
JS responded to the backlash with a very public meltdown.
Today's episode of What Are People Mad at Me For Now? Not checking my emails in a timely manner.
I was joking. Forgot to respond to an email from this creator that wanted to collab with me, and instead of just like hitting me up again, they made 7 videos about it! Can you please leave me the f*** alone? I have a diagnosed neurological disorder that makes me forget things and procrastinate due to time blindness. I forget to eat for days. I procrastinate sleep for more days. I barely text my family back, and I just had to move apartments because my address got leaked, and you're gonna throw a fit because I didn't make you my priority? Ah!
By this point, Not only had the internet turned on JS, but so had her sponsors. That's right, Netflix, High Meal, and Casetify all cut ties with the influencer. Meanwhile, social media continued to tear JS's reputation to shreds. From calling out a joke that some believed was missing a punchline.
If a service dog ever approaches you but they're alone, that means that their owner is in trouble and they probably can't move, so you should follow him, because you'll get a free wallet.
It's not funny to anybody who uses a service dog. It is not okay. And there is no apology. There is no responsibility. There is nothing.
To accusations that her original apology was ghostwritten.
Helped with the good bit of the apology, especially the part about black creatives. When we were both talking about that part in the apology, I really did think that they would hold up their end of the bargain, you know?
The result of this unending backlash? JS had gone from social media's darling to the internet's most hated creator. Yet, despite the petition demanding her permanent ban from TikTok that received over 400,000 signatures, JS seemed unfazed.
The only way that TikTok would ever ban me, I'll ban myself. I don't give a...
While viewers couldn't ban JS from the app, they could cancel her again, and again, and again. Since our original video on JS, the influencer has remained a lightning rod for controversy. For example, in August 2024, TikToker Alex Biron called JS out for stealing his content.
We'll give you the promotion without you even asking.
You guys are gonna get the job without even asking.
JS, however, claimed they were both reading off the same Reddit comment, which she more than happily provided. Yet according to Alex, everything JS presented as proof was fake. From pretending to look for the comment,
I actually haven't even sat down and found the screenshot yet.
Oh, really? Because the Reddit thread is bookmarked. Fake scrolling.
There's gotta
You
be
know where it is.
to the actual screenshot.
I found the screenshot. It's this one.
In fact, according to Alex's research, JS had posted the comment herself and then changed the screenshot date. As for how she managed this, well...
It turns out you can search Reddit for recent deleted posts. She commented on a different subreddit where she thought nobody would see and then deleted it so that she had the convincing looking thing for her screenshot. She actually posted it twice because there's some typos in the first one.
Less than a month later, JS's reputation took another hit. This time, it was a restraining order filed by her ex, Brittany Lee DeJardo. Brittany alleged that JS verbally mistreated her, used her followers to harass her, and most disturbingly, was showing up at her house unannounced, including one night at 2:45 a.m. She can easily turn millions of people against me, and she stalks my every move online and contacts people I follow, Brittany alleged. These, however, weren't the only unsettling accusations the filing exposed. The ex also claimed JS had a firearm and a history of rage against other exes. The filing suggested that this made the ex feel unsafe enough to ask a judge to grant her a temporary restraining order that would prevent JS from contacting her or coming within 100 yards of her home, or her job. JS denied the allegations, telling TMZ, unlike Brittany, I have been respecting her request for no contact for a couple of weeks now, including blocking her on all platforms, and I have not engaged in any behavior that would justify these allegations. According to JS, she did not take this filing lightly, and would be addressing this situation through the appropriate legal channels. In the end, however, the restraining order was dismissed after Brittany failed to appear in court for the order hearing, making it just another blow to JS's already broken public image. But was it broken beyond repair, or was it possible the disgraced influencer could make a comeback? On January 18th, the day before TikTok was supposed to be banned for good in the US, JS posted a farewell to the app that she owed for both her rise and fall.
I know that I haven't always used this platform you guys have given me.
Pinata.
I've made a lot of interesting choices.
I guess I'll
could have
keep
done a lot
some,
of things
'cause
differently,
I don't
and
know
I
what
think
to do
about
with it.
every single day, and I like to think that I've learned and grown from it. I just felt the need to say something in like a goodbye, I guess.
Another big butterfly.
While some viewers made it clear that JS was not forgiven for her past, with TikTok on the brink of collapse and the sincerity the influencer projected in the post.
I know I try to be like the educator on this app or whatever, but I've learned a lot from you guys, and I don't want that to end.
The overwhelming majority of comments were nostalgic for the days when only JS reigned over the app. And with JS now able to poke fun at herself.
The petition to stop the TikTok ban has 400,000 signatures, right? The petition to ban me off of TikTok has more. Can y'all tell me why you want me off the app more than you want to save it?
Many questioned why the internet had turned on the creator in the first place. It was in this positive reception that Jace potentially saw a glimmer of hope that she could recapture her glory days. But nostalgia, it turns out, can only get you so far. See, Jace's YouTube only pulls in a fraction of the views her content used to, with many of the videos barely scraping the 5,000 view mark. On TikTok, her viewership is higher, but still nowhere near where it was at her peak. And as comments were quick to point out, engagement is shockingly low. And when viewers do interact with Jace's videos, well, they rarely have anything positive to say. Whether it's a post jumping on a trending topic,
Somebody already made a game called Coldplay Canoodler where the objective is to find the CEO of Astronomer and his HR mistress.
or simply reminding viewers that she's still around, comment sections are there to remind Jayus that the internet never forgets.
Just want to make a quick PSA because I feel like a lot of people forget this and so they let their guard down and it might actually happen to them. Only Jayus is still on this app. I saw this in my mentions and I actually recoiled.
Hold up, Alana in Texas just placed the dreamiest protein coffee order. She picked Snickerdoodle.
I think I'm gonna be fine. I'll probably be able to move past this, but just watch your back because you never know. It could happen to you.
For example, when Jace posted about wanting to call out a creator, but knowing their fans would rush to their defense, one viewer replied, "Knowing you, it's a black creator, isn't it?" Other comments were just as critical. "I'm losing views again, so it's time to bring up a bigger creator and start more controversy. I know you're not talking. Can you just go away?" But Jace wouldn't go away, even if everyone stopped paying attention, while continuing to post life hacks that received minimal engagement.
Here's some hacks to work on kids that I know work because I am the oldest girl of 11 siblings.
Potentially in an effort to prove she's changed.
Roll back to when that white TikToker famously got called out for racism and then decided to educate themselves on racism.
She's also begun posting social justice and activist content.
I am calling out every other big influencer that follows me that has moved to LA. If you are not using your platform right now to be in the streets, what are you doing? You can learn a lot about yourself under a fascist regime. Near the end of Black History Month here, and I wasn't going to make a video like this because I didn't want it to be performative or patronizing.
But that's exactly how many viewers took this content. One user commented, "I don't think you, of all people, should be trying to tell people racism is bad." Or as another user simply put it, "I remember." Yes, the internet wasn't forgetting Jace's past anytime soon. But perhaps Jace could find success on another platform, where sketchy paths are all a part of the allure. That's right, Jace has reportedly ventured posting racy content on an OF competitor platform called Passes. However, from the poor engagement on her posts, it's unlikely this will be the influencer's new career path. And while Jace claims to be embracing the flop,
A lot of people say that I've fallen off. I kind of like my fall off era. I'm posting that matters, that I like.
when she reflects on her past accomplishments,
I was one of Netflix's first podcasts. And it doesn't exist anymore because I ruined it. I have stuff that YouTube used to send me. They don't anymore because I ruined it. Look at the TikTok skateboard. I look at it and I'm just like, damn,
it's clear she isn't satisfied with her legacy or how things have turned out.
I am only Jace. That's what I'm leaving behind. It's just fun facts of watered down subjects, racism, anger.
And for that, she only blames herself.
I'm doing it for myself, and I'm aware that everything that I'm planning to do, I'm gonna do my best, but it's never gonna be enough. I'm never gonna be enough for what it could have been if I just wasn't so toxic.
it can be really toxic. I can be so toxic. And I'm sorry that I put that out into the world. I really am.
Of course, that doesn't mean the hate she receives is always justified. In August, she opened up about almost taking her life following the reaction to her apology video.
My mental health is not on you guys. That is a me thing that I'm working on. It didn't help, right? And so there are people who are really
trying to
can
find
make
crickets
comments like
and
these
tadpoles and shit for the big ones because
God,
we
let
need
it
the
get to me
big
as much, but then there's other days
critters.
where I
All the small ones I already got, and I should have saved some of the big ones, but I forgot.
Yet amid the backlash, Some users see only JS as worthy of redemption, or at least not deserving of the hate they receive. Accountability, people, it means everything. I love you for actually trying to be better. Unlike people who just sit in their habits, thank you. God forbid a person tries to change. Despite her content no longer attracting the views it used to, only JS continues to post online.
God bring the love, you bring change. God bring the love, you bring change.
Is this content performative, authentic? That remains up for debate. For now, however, it doesn't appear JS is going anywhere, whether the internet likes it or not. While you're here, check out our video about another influencer facing public scrutiny after
Okay. Only whoever the fuck you are.
Don't wait
Oh,
another day
okay.
to go solar. The 30% federal solar...
Good for you. Alright. Time for Bailey. Oh shit, no way. It's only a clippy clip. I don't want a clippy clip. That's poo-poo. Damn it. It's Monday. There's supposed to be new murder. You know what? How about the Alaska
It's
Triangle?
the most wonderful
That
time
seems
of the
normal.
year. No, not Christmas. Not yet. I'm talking about Fat Bear Week. Do you guys follow Fat Bear Week? No? It's amazing. Basically, it's bulking season for all the bears who are about to go into hibernation. So they spend all summer eating salmon in this river, and they're just packing on the pounds. And this national park in Alaska called Katmai started this genius competition where you can actually vote for who's gonna be the fattest bear. So all the bears, they're all tagged, they all have names and stories. Oh, it's so cute. One of them is named 747 because this bear is that big, you know what I'm saying? And then there's another bear, her name's Holly. She's a little cutie. Anyways, these bears have to basically eat a year's worth of food in 6 months because in winter, they lose up to a third of their body weight. They can't really eat or drink at that point because the winter is brutal in Alaska. Obviously, this sent me down a rabbit hole. Or should I say, a bear den. No? Okay, whatever. You guys are hard to please. It turns out there's an area in Alaska that is actually known for being inescapable. Oh, yes, baby, this has nothing to do with bears. Plot twist. It's called the Alaska Triangle. And since 1972, more than 20,000 people have gone missing in this area. Yeah, 20,000 people vanished. Poof, poof, no trace. Planes, hikers, locals, and tourists gone. Is it the weather? Is it aliens? Is it a snow monster?
Bears.
Energy vortexes? Ancient
Weather.
curses? All I'm
Idiocy.
saying is something
Natural
weird is going
stuff.
on up in Alaska. Could it be Holly? Could it be 747 eating everybody up? I don't know. So, where did all these people go, and what's behind it? Today, we are getting into the dark history of the Alaska Triangle. So bundle up, because it's gonna get cold and chilly.
Where the fuck is the weird mushroom? Only one mushroom left I need. It's making me angry.
Hi friends, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. My name is Bailey Sarian, and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast, Dark History. Here we believe history does not have to be boring. It might be tragic, sometimes it's happy, but either way it's our dark history. Now before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm always posting new content, and let me know what you think down below in the comment section, because I love hearing from you, and I read comments at the end. Now, let's get into it. Yes, I am committing to these mittens, okay? Let me live. There's a lot going on. We got aliens, okay. So, maybe, yes, we've all heard about the Bermuda Triangle, right? listen, we actually did a Dark History episode about it. I'll link it down below if you, wanna listen. But today, we're talking about a different triangle. Oh yes, there's more than one. And this one is much further north, much colder, and much more suspicious. Now, to compare the two triangles, about 900 people have gone missing in the Bermuda Triangle in over like a 200-year period. But in the Alaska Triangle, that many people go missing not every 200 years, but every 2 years. What? Yeah, I don't even know why we've been talking about the Bermuda Triangle. The Alaska Triangle is... something's going on. I'm talking about an area of land that covers 300,000 to 400,000 square miles from Barrow, also known as Utqiagvik, to Juneau, down near the coast. It's a big area. This specific area is bigger than California and almost the size of Texas. And, this area itself is like one big obstacle course. In the triangle area is the Alaska Range of Mountains, which is home to the tallest mountain in North America, Mount McKinley. Then there's glaciers, which I always thought a glacier was an iceberg. Something that like lives in water, but no, I was so wrong. A glacier is like a slow-moving river of ice that moves on land. I know, I was like, what? These things can creep downhill under their own weight and pull rocks and like anything else into it, like cold quicksand. It's crazy. And then like on top of like the moving ice and the mountains and all that, there's avalanches, the snow, and then you can also like run into swamps and bogs. And in all of those areas, of course, there are wild animals just waiting to eat you, Now, because of all this, it makes sense that the disappearance rate in this Alaska Triangle is more than double the national average. It's not somewhere you really want to go missing, because you're going to be hard to find, okay? But that's exactly what happened to the Douglas.
Do you ever scroll through online reviews like it's your full-time job? Because, same. One time I was like constant paranoia.
Nothing had ever made such a difference in my skin so quickly.
It's a night and day because of something called the Cold War. Brr. I'm not going to get into the weeds of the Cold War in this episode, but basically this is when the Soviet Union and the US were in a standoff because they both knew that they had nuclear weapons, and everyone was freaked out that at any second, like, someone was going to drop a nuke. There you go. There's the quick little TLDR. Now, Alaska was the only thing between the US and Russia, which back then was called the Soviet Union, okay? So at one time, Alaska belonged to Russia, okay? And then in 1867, America, the USA, they bought Alaska for $7.2 million from Russia. And this was called the Alaska Purchase in 1867, which to me was like, why do they want Alaska so bad? There must be something going on there. But whatever, we bought it, so it was ours. Since there was just like a tiny sliver of ocean separating Alaska from the Soviet Union, Alaska basically became like a watchtower. So the military started building air bases, radar stations, and early warning systems in Alaska that would warn us in case there was a Soviet attack coming over the Arctic. So there were a lot of like US military planes flying like all over Alaska in the 1950s. And one of them was a C-54 Skymaster called the Douglas. Now this was a big military workhorse plane. It had 4 engines and it was just a big old flying tank. Now I'm talking big. It was 117 feet across and 94 feet long. On January 26, the Douglas was scheduled to fly from an Air Force base in Anchorage, Alaska, all the way down to Great Falls, Montana. So, holy shit. On this plane, there were 8 crew members, 34 military servicemen and 2 civilians, a woman named Joyce Espy and her baby Victor. So in total, there were 44 people on this plane.
Okay.
Now, going from Anchorage to Montana was not like a quick and easy flight. The flight path was known to be long and pretty dangerous.
What do you do
so,
with the pinata poop, I wonder?
good luck. The Douglas was supposed to take off in the morning, but one of its engines needed repairs, so they had to delay it a bit. And then finally at 1 p.m., the plane takes off. Now, it was said to be a beautiful day in Alaska. It was minus 25 degrees, so perfect. And for the first 2 hours, everything's
I need a neon
everything's going
cow.
good. At 3:09 p.m.
Ooh, an
local time,
albino.
around 2 hours after takeoff, the Douglas made a routine report. On the radio, they're like,
Flying over this place. Just checking in. Goodbye.
they said they were flying at 10,000 feet over the small town of Snag in Yukon. Snag. Anyways, and they expected to reach the next radio station at Ishukik in Yukon in about like 30 minutes, and then they would check in again.
Can't do anything with it.
So everyone's kind of waiting around, and that next check-in never came in.
You
And
need
no
10
one
of
heard
the candy
from
canes for the
Douglas
VR chair.
again. But still, it was an industrial military plane, so people
And
still
alpaca
expected them
thread.
to land. You
And a
know, it
bunch
was
of
like, okay,
silk
maybe
rope.
they're still gonna land. But when the Douglas doesn't show up in Montana, people start to panic.
Okay.
The military launched Operation Mike, which was named after the pilot, Lieutenant Mike Tissick. Now, this was like a serious manhunt. They had 85 aircrafts and 7,000 troops in the area, looking night and day for the plane, the crew, any sign of the Douglas. But, you know, they're searching, and they find nothing. No debris, no signal, no smoke, nothing. Just dead silence. By February 20th, just 25 days after the Douglas vanished, they shut the search down. Now, the families were told that their loved ones were presumed dead, and they had no answers. All 44 people on board, a mother, her baby, 34 servicemen, and 8 crew members were never seen or heard from again. And like their poor families were left with zero closure.
Your membership is more than just a card. It's your gateway to extraordinary experiences. With the AAA app, discover savings and hidden gems.
I want pizza.
The only explanation was that the plane vanished, you know? But how does like a big plane like that just vanish
So,
into
these
thin
have
air? Well, in
no
2012,
use.
relatives of
But
the
I do
people
need the
lost
candy
on the
canes.
Douglas came together and petitioned the U.S. government to reopen the search using modern technology. But they wouldn't unless, quote, significant new evidence is discovered. These fluffies, man, they are getting me. They are getting me good. So the organizer set up a Facebook page called Operation Mike, where to this day they still fight to get the case reopened and answers for the families. Now, the craziest thing to me is that at this point it's been over
Blacka
70
Packa.
years, and no wreckage has ever turned up from the Douglas. And again, we are talking about like some huge plane, okay? So a big plane, not like a little helicopter. Was it David Copperfield, the magician, who like made one of like the pyramids disappear or something? Maybe he was involved. Because it's like giving that. Like, how did he do that? Was it a pyramid? I swear it's a pyramid. Whatever. It's giving David Copperfield, right? Like, where did it go? I don't know. Look, of course, everyone has their theories. Some say the Douglas crashed into like a frozen lake and then sank, which is possible, except that none of the lakes in question are, they're not very deep, okay? And most likely, something would have like floated up by now. Now, another theory is that it went off course and it crashed into the ocean. But, you know, many say like the weather was clear that day, so why would they fly off course? And if they did, how come there was no like distress call? Sure, the plane had a repair done before flying, but even if one of the engines started acting up mid-flight, there were 3 other engines
because I already
to take over. And again,
used
there was no
my
distress
sphere.
call. But then, not even 2 weeks after the Douglas disappeared,
It's an ion
another
sphere.
plane went down in the triangle.
So listen, if you're looking for something truly spooky this Halloween season,
give me a second.
like the kind of scary where you question your life choices the second you step in, then you have to check out Dark Harbor at the Queen Mary. It's back, and it's absolutely terrifying. We're talking new haunted mazes that go through the actual Queen Mary ship, immersive add-on experiences, delicious food and bars, along with secret speakeasies, carnival rides, so much more. Dark Harbor is one of the largest Halloween events in the country, right in Long Beach, at the world-famous Queen Mary. Screams for your life. And hey, if you're looking for something different, you can also hit up the Los Angeles Haunted Hayride and Halloween Festival for even more haunted house chaos. Yay, chaos! Now featuring an exclusive partnership with Elvira to bring you the new Elvira's Trick or Treat Mayhem Maze. Now I get it. Not everyone wants to be chased by ghouls, okay? If you're more like Bailey, I love Halloween, but like I also like don't want to have a heart attack, you know? Then check out the brand new magic of the jack-o'-lanterns in Palos Ranchos. Over 10,000 hand-carved pumpkins, all glowing and gorgeous. Great Instagram photos to be had there, okay? Nothing scary is gonna jump out at you. It's just pretty. Art, pumpkins. So yeah, whatever your vibe, terrified or cozy spooky, LA's got you covered this season. All events are now open. So, it's February 13th, 1950, and a huge U.S. military bomber plane called the Convair B-36 was scheduled to fly from Fairbanks, Alaska, down to Texas. Now, this plane was one of the biggest bombers ever built. There were 17 military crew members on board, but the plane was also carrying something else. A huge nuclear bomb. Yes. But somewhere off the coast of British Columbia, 3 of the plane's engines catch on fire, which, not ideal if you have a bomb on board. So the crew was told to drop the bomb, okay, release the bomb right into the ocean. And then moments later, the plane crashed into a mountain. Now, luckily, before the plane crashed, the 17 crew members were able to jump out and use the whole parachute situation, like seconds before the whole thing went down, and they landed somewhere in Canada.
You could borrow anywhere from $26,000 to $250,000 to fund your dream renovation. Skip the credit cards. Interest rates are often over 20% and will cost you big time. HELOCs are your solution. They typically offer lower rates than using credit cards, helping you save money on your renovation. With Upstart Mortgage, you can shop rates that fit your budget, then apply for a loan of up to $250,000 to fund your renovation. Also, a HELOC from Upstart Mortgage closes in as little as 5 days, which is 6 times faster than the industry average of 31 days. Best part, checking your rate only takes a few minutes with no paperwork required.
Good thing there was commercials.
12 of the military crew who were on the B-36 bomber were rescued. 1 body was recovered later, but there were 4 people who were never found.
Ionosphere,
A couple years
phantosphere.
later, in 1953, remains from the B-36 bomber plane were discovered. But the nuclear bomb that was dropped, was never found, which is kind of troubling. Now again, this was during the Cold War, so some experts say it's likely both planes had something on board that made them a target. A bomb, maybe? I don't know. And maybe the Soviet Union took the plane out before a distress call could be made. But it wasn't until 1972 that the Alaska Triangle officially got its name, when the FBI tries to cover up an assassination. I know, what the fuck is going on? So,
it is
now
that.
We're in October.
And that.
Yes, we are.
Fuck.
October 16th, 1972. We're
I
back
cannot
in Anchorage,
open the
Alaska,
mind.
and a Pan-Alaska Airways plane is leaving for Juneau with some kind of important people on board. First, we have Congressman Nick Begich from Alaska. 2, we have House Majority Leader Hale Boggs, a very important politician from Louisiana. 3, the assistant to both of these guys, whose name was Russell Brown. And 4, their experienced pilot, Don Johns. That's a great name, Don Johns. Don Johns. I like that. Don Johns. It's like a tequila. I don't know. Okay, so listen. So they were en route to a political rally in Juneau, but they never made it. Now, normally when a plane disappears, there's a search, of course, yes, but this was next level. Now, when their plane disappeared, it triggered the largest search and rescue operation in U.S. history at that time. It lasted 39 days, utilized 40 military aircrafts, 50 civilian planes, and they covered over 325,000 square miles of glaciers.
There it is.
Mountains,
Got it.
coastline, and ocean.
Fucking
It took a
pixie
total
cap.
of 3,600
That's it. That's the last mushroom I
hours of
needed.
flight time. And some places even got double-checked on foot. And it left everyone completely puzzled because nothing was found. Not even a bolt. Not even an airline peanut. Not even a shoe. Not even a toupee. Nothing. Nothing was found. Okay? Nothing. So the government was like, okay, we're calling it. And the search was canceled on November 24th, 1972. Everyone on board was officially declared dead on December 29th. Now, this was the event that made people realize, they had no idea what they were dealing with, okay? Nobody knows what the hell is going on over there. And it's when the Alaska Triangle, officially gets its name. Some people think, there was foul play involved in this specific crash, because it turns out that Hale Boggs, one of the 4 guys on the plane, now he wasn't just like any congressman. He was on a special commission that was dedicated to investigate JFK's assassination. And Boggs knew something was fishy with the whole situation. So publicly, Congressman Boggs, he supported the conclusion that Lee Harvey Oswald had acted alone. He was like, yeah. But behind closed doors, it was said he actually didn't buy it. And he was really trying to reopen the case. Now, this was going against the FBI's wishes. Congressman Boggs told people that the FBI, they were tapping his phone and other members of Congress, and he said that he had proof they were doing it. And Mr. Boggs, he was not holding back. He was calling out J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI at the time, demanding for him to resign, believing that he had too much unchecked power, and that guy just needed to go, okay? So, Mr. Boggs was vocal. And yeah, he made some enemies, some big ones. And there was evidence that someone wanted him dead. And that someone was the FBI.
At Avis, we rent cars. Unlike anyone else rents cars.
Hail Bogs. It sounds like those really healthy. Hail Bogs sounds like those healthy ice creams that have like 10 calories in them. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just think Hail Bog sounds like a healthy ice cream alternative, but it tastes like crap. Or it's just giving me ice. Maybe because we're in Alaska right now, like shaved ice. I want a Hail Bogs. I gotta get rid of these things. If you're watching over on YouTube, I have to let the mittens go. They are releasing fluff in every direction. It's up my nose, it's in my mouth, it's in my eye. I'm so sorry. You know, I was committed to the idea, but I have to let it go. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, mittens. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Hold on. It's a terrible idea. I'm giving those mittens 1-star review. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. It's not coming off. Okay. Hold on. Free! Yay! So, listen, okay. When the flight that Boggs was on pulled a Douglas and, like, poof, disappeared, people were extremely suspicious. I mean, after all, Congressman Boggs was actively trying to get the FBI to reopen the JFK assassination case against the FBI's wishes. And then he disappears. Very convenient, you know?
My shit's gonna be ready in
and
like
everything,
a
nothing
minute.
is ever found, and no one comes forward with like any information. That is until 1994. Now this is when a man named Jerry Max Paisley decided to start talking. Jerry Max Paisley was a convicted mob hitman. He was a bomber, and then in 1994 he was sitting in prison, in Arizona, for murder. Yeah. Jerry Max Paisley sounds like a beautiful wallpaper that I would put in my Animal Crossing home. That would be like a cute little Paisley design, you know what I'm saying? But it definitely sounds like a cute like wallpaper, right? Or a pad. Get the Jerry Max Paisley. And since he's already in jail, he starts to talk, you know, in hopes to like get some kind of like plea bargain or something. So he tells a reporter that, quote, in 1972, I was given a locked briefcase by a member of the Bonanno crime family. I flew it to Anchorage and handed it off to two guys. They said something big was about to happen, end quote. Now, Jerry Max Paisley said he found out later that the briefcase he was paid to deliver had a bomb in it, and that it ended up on the plane that vanished with Congressman Boggs. So, you know, did the plane blow up? Okay. And Jerry, you know, he had some credibility here, because after the whole, like, bomb exchange, he ended up going into business with one of the men who, like, gave him the briefcase in the first place. They ended up co-owning a bar in Anchorage. It was kind of weird. He ended up getting married to, like, one of the chicks whose husbands was on the plane that went missing. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Jerry said that there was, like, one day when the two of them were hanging out, him and, like, the business partner guy. They were hanging out. They were drinking, they were fishing together, and the guy tells him, he's like, yeah, there was a bomb in that suitcase, and it was planted. It was crazy, huh? And, like, to Jerry, this was new news to him. Maybe, probably not, but, like, he's like, what? That's crazy. You know, the guy's like, hey, remember how we had you, like, bring us that suitcase? Well, guess what? It was a bomb. They didn't even see it coming. That's crazy. And then they just like keep fishing, you know? So, Jerry, you know, he goes on with his life and whatnot, and he confesses all this later on. And the journalist contacts the police in Anchorage, Alaska. So by this point, it's 1995. And the Anchorage police are like, you know, what? Like, this is crazy. This could, like, solve everything. So the police sergeant in Anchorage, his name was Mike Grimes, he contacts the FBI, like, right away. He's like, oh my God, you gotta hear this. This is crazy. So the FBI, like, they immediately send agents to interview Jerry Max Paisley. And the agent that Sergeant Grimes talked to agreed that, like, this was a huge turn of events and that, you know, she was going to keep him posted as to, like, what was going on. So Police Sergeant Mike Grimes, you know, he is just reeling from this information. He is, like, dying for an update, and weeks go by and he doesn't hear anything. So he's like, you know what, I'm just going to reach out to the FBI, you know, I'm going to talk to the agent I talked to and, like, figure out what's going on. And this is when it gets weird. So Sergeant Grimes ends up meeting up with the FBI agent in Anchorage. And she basically tells him that she was told to just stay out of it. Okay? That was it. Stay out of it. Very unsatisfying. And they literally never heard from the FBI again. Now, Jerry Max Paisley, he offered to take a polygraph test, but no record shows like it ever happened. So there were no charges, there was no follow-ups, there was still no clear answers. And that's when the story died. And so did Jerry Max Paisley in 2010. But my thought was, okay, if it blew up, still, wouldn't you find pieces? So then I was also thinking, okay, it blew up. There were pieces. Did they have like a cleanup crew on deck who went and like hurried and like cleaned it all up and then made it look like it just disappeared? I don't know. But this again just added to the phenomenon of the Alaska Triangle.
For some reason, every time fall comes around, I kind of like forget how to feed myself. I don't know. Leaves are falling, Ugg boots on, and that's...
An MSC cruise isn't just a vacation, it's a holiday full of European style and...
And all the things Americans love too. Come on.
It's HelloFresh.com/darkhistory10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life.
So once again, people were left asking, like, what the hell happened?
Damn it.
Did the pilot of this, like, Pan-Alaska plane fly into bad weather, slam into a glacier? Was the flight sabotaged? Did it blow up? You know, was it a hit job disguised as a tragedy to keep the JFK assassination under wraps? I mean, hello. I think that one seems like the best answer. Why else would the FBI shut down a very credible investigation? Just weird. Weird. But some believe that maybe the plane was taken down by a mysterious energy vortex. Yes, listen.
All
Some
right.
people believe that
I'm
maybe
here.
the reasoning behind all of this is an energy vortex. Stick with me here, okay? Some people are completely convinced that the Alaska Triangle is the home of a massive swirling energy vortex, like a whirlpool of electromagnetic energy. You know, kind of like what happens in the Bermuda Triangle. You know, people say like their compasses go crazy, or like any of their electromagnetic equipment just starts to like go nuts. The same thing happens in the Alaska Triangle. Search and rescue teams have reported that their compasses would spin 30 degrees off for no reason, and some would even say that they would hear like strange noises in the triangle
giant
that
tadpoles.
sounded otherworldly. God, what's that animal that makes a really weird noise? It's like an elk or something like that. Elks make
They make a whistle.
crazy, creepy sounds.
It's a
and
whistle
they're kind
scream.
of like this weird animal mystery because the bigger the animal, the deeper the voice. Like a bear is like a deep growl. If it's a really big bird, it's like a really deep like caw. But the elk is the only animal that's super big and makes a very high-pitched voice.
Told you, it's a scream whistle.
I have elk knowledge for some reason. I don't know why, but this is a fact. So maybe it was an elk. It's a mystery. An animal mystery. Ooh, new show, Animal Mysteries with Bailey Sarian. Otters, they hold hands when they sleep. Let me know down below if you want to see that. Okay, so elks. Not an elk. Otherworldly. Many have claimed when they've gone into this area, it's given them auditory hallucinations. Like, you're out there, okay? You're on the tundra, and then all of a sudden you hear your name, like, being whispered behind you, but no one's around. Something's going on. People are like, they're hearing shit, okay? Some experts believe that all this magnetic weirdness might be tied to a mysterious energy project built by the government. Maybe you've heard of it, but it's called HARP. HARP stands for the High Frequency Active Auroral. Come on! High Frequency Active Auroral.
Rural.
You know, I had a speech impediment growing up and I had to take speech classes. It was really embarrassing because I couldn't say R words, so this one, yeah, really getting me. HARP stands for the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program.
Auroral.
Look, this is probably as good as it's gonna get. It was built in the early 1990s, and, of course, it's located right inside the Alaska Triangle. Specifically, right outside a tiny town called Gakona. On the surface, HARP was created to study the ionosphere, which is the technical term for the upper layer of the atmosphere. This is like where radio waves, you know, bounce around, satellites orbit. It's also where the northern lights happen, okay? Up there, okay? Now, if you were to go to the area where HARP is at, okay? Which, honestly, I'm not even sure you're allowed to do that. But if you did go, you would see like a giant metal forest. It's made up of 180 radio antennas lined up in rows, all blasting high-frequency energy straight into the sky. So, when they flip the switch, HARP can literally make artificial auroras. It's like their own like Northern Lights show. They say that they do these experiments to like help scientists figure out how like
Aurora
GPS
Borealis.
works, how to predict storms, how to keep military communications safe, which is why HARP has been paid for by the Air Force, the Navy, and DARPA. Now, DARPA is basically America's mad science lab. Officially, it's the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. But really, it's the US government's way of funding like wild, futuristic ideas. So, very official. But is HARP really just like studying the atmosphere, or is there something like more going on there? And if there was, will the government even tell us? Of course they wouldn't. But if you ask the internet, or even like your uncle who collects a lot of like old radios, HARP isn't just beaming energy into the sky. Many believe, many say, it's controlling everything. Oh yes, there are theories that HARP is actually trying to weaponize the atmosphere. So they're literally trying to figure out how to cause storms, steer hurricanes, and even trigger earthquakes. That's what's believed. Some people swear that HARP can even beam low-frequency waves right into our heads, messing with brain function and behavior. So, I mean, people have a lot of beliefs as to, like, what the hell HARP is, okay? Did you ever watch that movie? It was on Disney Channel. It was called, what was it called? Christmas. It was a Christmas weather movie where this kid had this machine and it can control the weather and everything.
Imagine if you had the power to change the weather.
It's giving that. Like, that's what HARP would be. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was a Disney Channel original movie, and it had this little, like, weather machine, and, the guy, he wanted it to be, like, Christmas forever, so then, like, this machine would control the weather, so it was snow, and it was, like, Christmas forever. And then, of course, the lesson was, like, hey, that kind of sucks. You don't want it to be Christmas forever. But that's what HARP reminds me of, kind of. But, like, it was like a cute Disney version of HARP. But this is Alaska, so HARP is like only the tip of the iceberg. There are people who think HARP is just like a distraction, and that the real source of all these electromagnetic disturbances, missing planes, and vanished hikers isn't like that weather harvesting antenna farm. But many believe it's something buried deep in the Alaskan wilderness. A massive underground structure known as the Dark Pyramid.
Do.
Today's episode is brought to you by Liquid IV. Okay, let's talk about the more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code DARKHISTORY at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code DARKHISTORY at liquidiv.com. The rumor is that there is like a top secret energy source hidden in the Alaska Triangle, which people have been calling the Dark Pyramid. Now, this pyramid is allegedly 4 times the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and allegedly so powerful and so secret that the government has scrubbed it from satellite images entirely. Okay, so if it's been scrubbed, then how do we know about it? Well, in 1992, I guess China, they were out doing their thing, and they performed an underground like nuclear test. And then geologists in Alaska, they were like studying the shock waves created by this test when that's when they came across something weird. And they realized there was something buried like 700 feet below Alaska. Something huge. So they do more testing. And when they do more testing, it revealed that this something was pyramid shaped. Listen, so like years later, there was an anonymous retired naval captain. He called into a show called Coast to Coast AM. This was a very popular radio show, especially for like those who enjoyed like a little conspiracy theory here and there. Paul, for sure, you know, he loves a conspiracy theory. He even came today with his full chart, ready to talk about the Alaskan Triangle, because he did his research, okay? He made a whole presentation. Sorry, Paul, we don't really have to get into it. I don't know what John Benet Ramsey has to do with the Alaska Triangle, but okay, Paul, you know, he's into it. We like the effort, okay? As long as it stays a hobby and it doesn't consume you and take over your whole personality. But, you know, this naval captain guy, he calls and on air, he said that back in the 80s, he was working on government radar systems in Alaska. And he kept running into like this mysterious electromagnetic interference. And none of his like superiors could explain it. He said this interference made planes glitch and messed up communications. And over his time working there, he became convinced that the source of all of this unexplained energy was this dark pyramid. So the guy, he goes and he tells his higher ups about his theory. And when he did that, they threatened him with a court-martial and told him to like stay in his lane. In case you don't know, like a court-martial is like getting suspended or even expelled from the military. So people who subscribe to the Dark Pyramid theory think that the government is keeping it secret because it is such a powerful source of energy. Many also believe that this is where like all the aliens live. This is alien home. I don't know, could be. It's kind of weird. Why not? Life is short. So one man named Nathan Campbell, he actually attempted to find the pyramid. Good for him, you know? He's like, you know what? I'm gonna go see. So back in 2020, he hired a charter plane to drop him off as close to the coordinates of the pyramid as he could get, and then with him he had 4 months of camping equipment. Now Nathan, he was 41 at the time, and he had a wife and kids back home.
Ultra rare,
so he brought like a
finally.
2-way satellite communicator so he could like send messages while he was away, let them know.
Hey, I'm here.
Know? And on his way to Alaska, he told his pilot, a guy named Jason, all about his plan to find the pyramid. So, you know, they fly out there, and on May 27th, 2020, Nathan was dropped off, and he was feeling confident, right? The pilot, Jason, he arranged to pick him back up on September 15th before the weather would get like too cold. So he's like, see ya, good luck, bye, and then like flies off. But by mid-June, Nathan's family stopped getting his satellite texts, and he was never seen again. You know, search parties went out looking for him. They didn't find any blood or body. They didn't see any sign of like an attack. But they did find Nathan's journal. In the last entry, he said that he was leaving to get water. And that was it. Yeah, A little anticlimactic. I know. It was kind of like a boring journal entry, not to judge. Like, I'm going to get water. Yay. Yeah, but that was it. He was going to get watered. Maybe he fell in and like froze or something. I don't know. Nathan's disappearance left a lot of people convinced that he got like too close to something the government like doesn't want us to know about. Of course, you know, that is one theory. Another theory is that aliens got him. Another is that bears got him. Another is that, I don't know, he went to get water and just decided to never come back. Anything could have really happened to poor Nathan out there. There are plenty of boring explanations for why so many people go missing, you know, out in this area. Like the geography of Alaska, which we talked about. It's nature's booby trap out there, so yeah. But in case you need one last reason to stay away from the Alaska Triangle, allow me to introduce you to the ancient legend of the Otter Man.
I'll be honest, my first therapy session did not go well, but it taught me something important. You don't get the best results by picking a...
For thousands of years, the indigenous people of Alaska, specifically by the Tlingit and Tsimshian groups, they have passed down warnings about the Kushtaka, which translates to Land Otter Man. I know, I love otters. Oh, they're so cute. You know, like when they sleep at night, they hold hands so they don't float away from each other? That's really precious. We don't deserve otters. According to native stories, the Kushtaka is a shapeshifter who can take the form of a human, but usually looks like a harmless otter. Based on this image, it does not look like a harmless otter. It looks like freaking a buff man with an otter head. It's very confusing. Yeah. You know on the cover of those romance novels where it's like Fabio all buff and like the hair's blowing through the wind, he's holding the woman. It's kind of what this otter looks like. He's all buff and manly looking. He's got a thick ass neck. Oh, it's kind of hot. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All right. The Kushtaka stalks the Alaskan wilderness, sniffing out lost hikers. And it doesn't just like lunge at you out of like trees and then eat you or something. Oh no. According to the legend, the Kushtaka plays with its food psychologically. Like an orca. They play with their food too. Yes, they do. Animals, huh? It'll shapeshift into your friend, your sister, a crying child, whatever it takes to like earn your trust. Then it leads you deeper into the woods. And that's when you either get ripped to shreds or you turn into a Kushtaka yourself. Aliens. It's all going back to aliens, huh? So, a lot going on in this Alaska Triangle. A lot of theories, a lot of ideas, a lot of claims, you know. But even the most boring version of the story, with like no aliens, no pyramids, like just facts, it still reads like the FBI might have like carried out a hit, you know, on a sitting congressman and like erased every trace of his plane from the sky. And if that's the baseline, then honestly, like, what is impossible? When you add in the magnetic vortexes, the disappearing aircraft, the ancient underground pyramid, pulsing energy no one can trace, Otterman, a government-powered weather machine, you start to realize that Alaska seems fun. Honestly, though, it feels like every attempt to explain this place just kind of opens a dozen more doors, and each one is just like more insane than the last. You go online and you start looking this stuff up, you don't know where it goes, okay? Some lead to like secret military, you know, ops. Some lead to alien tech. Some just lead you back to the same question. If we don't even really know what's going on in our own chilly backyard, what else are we missing? So friends, what do you think? Is there a giant ancient alien energy weapon buried beneath the Alaskan tundra? Are there vortexes and aliens and interdimensional portals? Or is it a big fat bear? You know? Or Is it just a case of mostly bad weather and a once-in-a-while strategic FBI murder?
Come on,
Let me
change
know in the comments
season
down below.
5.
I'm sure you got some stories and theories. I know you do. So let me
Bah.
know in the comments section. Let's talk about it. Now, next week, I have a special spooky surprise for all of you. I went back into the archives to comb through some of the spookiest, weirdest, most bizarre topics we've covered here on Dark History. And let me tell you, ooh, it's a journey. We're gonna revisit all of your favorite Halloweeny topics. Everything from evil sorcerers and sleep demons to mass hysteria and, of course, the classic witchy moment. So join me next week for a special Halloweeny treat I'm calling Tales from the Dark History Crypt. I better see you there. It's gonna be a real spooky treat. Now, I'd love to hear your guys' reactions to today's story, so make sure to leave a comment down below so I can see what you guys are saying, and your comment might even be featured in a future episode. Now, let's read a couple of comments you guys have left me. Teletubby? No way! Teletubby 1926? Love that. Commented on our Momsters episode saying, as someone who recently found out they might be distantly related to Ma Barker, thank you so much for covering her. I was having trouble piecing info together, but a little Bailey goes a long way. LOL. End quote. Really? What? Look at that. Dark History is teaching people more about their families than 23andMe ever could. Bold claim, but I said it. Are you really related though? That's crazy. That's crazy. Let me know. You got pictures or something? I've heard people are finding out some wild information on those ancestry sites, you never know who you might be related to. So that's interesting. Any crazy family stories? What do you got? Photos? Inside scoop? You can't just say that and not give us some kind of inside scoop. Let me know. Thanks for sharing. And I'm glad you liked the episode. Built from Brokeness commented, I thought I saw Joanne in a Windex commercial one time. End quote. Joanne? Who's Joanne? Oh, do you mean the fabric store that closed down? Wow, so sad. Joann's was so good and just shut down. Is it Joann's that closed down? Is that who you're talking about? Joanne? She was in a Windex commercial? Or do you mean Joan? Joan? Joan, is that your stage name for when you're doing Windex commercials? Okay. So Joanne, yeah, I guess she does commercials from time to time. So you may have recognized her as that crow flying into the glass. But good for you, Joan, or Joanne.
Vitacost.com is celebrating 30 years as your trusted source for natural, organic.
Abigail Jolene left us an episode suggestion. It's almost Halloween.
Oh,
which
we had that
means
Halloween,
I'm
but-
in the middle of watching Poltergeist, Amityville Horror, Halloween Town. The classics. Well, my friend came over the other day and was like, oh my god, we should watch The Exorcist. And I was like, no, we should not do that. I don't know about you guys, but that movie, nope. Growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch it because it was too scary. I guess it was too evil, too realistic, and so I watched it on later on, a couple years ago when I had COVID, and it was creepy. Okay, yeah, I watched the movie anyways because I'm a team player. But I was like, dang, is this really what goes down during an exorcism? Are they real, or is it just something we see in the movies? Naturally, hi, I'm Bailey Sarian, so I started looking some stuff up, and I knew I was gonna find some freaky stories. I mean, we're talking about people who are supposed to be possessed by demons, but what I found, I was not expecting. Today, we're going to be talking about mass possession of horny nuns, the nasty aftermath of the Exorcist movie premiere, and the shocking state of exorcisms today. Oh yes, baby, listen. Welcome to the dark history of exorcisms. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. My name is Bailey Sarian, and I'd like to welcome you to my podcast, Dark History. Here, we believe history does not have to be boring. It might be tragic, sometimes it's happy, but either way, it's our dark history. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe because I'm always posting new content. And let me know what you think down below in the comments section because I read comments at the end. Hi. Okay. Thank you. Now, let's get into it because listen, today is funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's actually spooky, but it's like, what? Yes. Usually in exorcisms, a person is possessed by a demon. And today, the word possessed, you know, we kind of use it like as a joke. Like, look at this photo of my cat. He looks possessed, huh? It's funny. Look at it. But for centuries, demonic possession was considered a serious threat to societies all around the world. And just like with witches, people blamed any strange or unexplainable behavior on
I wish I would have realized I needed to
possessions.
keep
For
the mind
example,
open.
If you lived in ancient times and you were struggling with like an unexplainable physical or mental condition, you would most likely be considered possessed. So like in ancient Mesopotamia, let's say a person had like epilepsy and they were like having seizures and stuff. Well, back then they didn't know like what that was. So they, at the time were like, this person's possessed. Now today, obviously,
you know what? I don't wanna...
it's called
I'm all
epilepsy.
done for the day.
But back then, demon.
Bye,
If you think about it, someone who has a severe form of epilepsy, they might like fall to the ground, shaking. Sometimes their eyes can
4
roll
hours
to
of
the back
Lego
their head,
was plenty.
and sometimes maybe even like
All right.
foam at the mouth. And back
Thanks,
then,
Stop.
they're
I
like,
appreciate you being here. Don't forget to check out
demon,
social
right?
medias, and
They
I'll
used to-
be back
demon.
again.